in Liv Palmer. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to welcome you to the Lancaster Lebanon League Girls Semifinal Playoff Games here at Buchanan Gymnasium at Hempfield High School. I am Rob Gantz, and I am joined by special guest, former head coach of the Lebanon Cedars, Jamie Walborn. We are here tonight with our Lebanon Federal Credit Union's pregame show. We're going to be with you for the long haul. We're here for both games tonight. We have in the Nightcap Cedar Crest against Ephrata. We're going to talk right now about the first game between the visiting in terms of what uniforms they're wearing. The Warwick Warriors wearing black.
Yeah, I think Mannheim Township, I'm super familiar with them. At Lebanon, we play them 2 times a year. They're in our section. They were here. We actually played them last year in the championship game of the league playoffs. So they are seasoned. They are used to playing these games. They have that playoff experience and that atmosphere. They're co-champions of our section with Cedar Crest. They're led by Devon Pinkard. He does a great job with them. They have a lot of college athletes on their team, not necessarily going in to play basketball, but a lot of college athletes, and I think he gets the best out of them. They are led by sophomore Sanaya Robinson. She's averaging 17 points per game. She's a big-time three-point threat. She can shoot anywhere on the arc. She can shoot deep. She can drive to the basket as well. They are without one of their senior players, Liv Palmer. She had an early injury, a midseason injury. She's one of their best defenders and one of their most experienced players. But she's been out, and I think, some of those other younger kids have kind of picked up for her and kind of, got rebounds for her. A bunch of kids chipped in. I think it's going to be a great game tonight.
And I think you hit on something that's really important to think about, the job that Coach Pinkard has done, knowing that he's lost a steady senior anchor in Liv Palmer. So I'm excited to see this matchup. It's a season of co-champions, as we have co-champ going up against co-champ tonight in our first matchup. Then, like I said, we will talk about the second matchup of Ephrata against Cedar Crest later. That wraps up our Lebanon Federal Credit Union pregame show. Again, Rob Gantz here with Coach Jamie Walborn. Very excited to bring this for you tonight, and we will be here for the long haul. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to tip off here at Buchanan Gymnasium between the visiting Warwick Warriors and the home team, Mannheim Township Blue Streaks, for the first of our LL League Girls Semifinal Playoff, where the winner of this game will play the winner of Cedar Crest and Ephrata coming up later. If we have anything close to the games that we had on Monday, we are in for a treat. We tip off right on time at 5:32. It is taken by Warwick there. They have it coming up on the right side. Coming up by Mia Warfel. She looks down low, goes right up, off the front glass. Good rebound there by Anaya Williams as Township's going down to the far side of the court.
You can see right away they went inside Warwick, trying to use their size against Township.
There was that sharp-shooting Sanaya Robinson with a deep three, just like you talked about in the pregame,
she
Coach.
She is dangerous from that three-point line.
And you also said she's a defender. Look at her right there poking that ball away.
And she doesn't need a lot of room to shoot. So if you give her space, she's going to let it fly.
Goes into the backcourt to Warfel. She swings over the lane, goes back up top.
You can see the pressure right away.
Drive, left-handed finish. Great drive there by Emerson Overly. Cuts the lead to 1. It is 3-2 in favor of Township. 7 minutes left in the first quarter.
Little press here from Warwick, which is good.
But Robinson broke the press, kicks back out to the wing. Oh, that three went off the back iron, but rebounded by Robinson. Three goes up, Three goes in by Bella Stern. Sharp shooting to start the game for the Blue Streaks, 6-2. Ball's on the wing, goes back up top, comes over to the right wing, back up top. Warwick really moving the ball. That's a three if it goes. Did not. Good hustle rebound there by Dombach.
Warwick's really doing a good job of getting to the rim. They haven't made some of those shots, but they're getting to the rim. They want to keep that up.
those shots will fall later. If they don't, they might get some fouls, get people in foul trouble and get to the line. Robinson passes it over to Weaver. Another three from the corner. That time, Anaya Williams with the three. Brings the score 9-2.
3 different people with 3-point shots.
Warwick's really going to have to close out those shooters if they want to stay in this, because they're shooting like this, it could be a long night.
Yep. And they answer.
They did. That was senior Sophia Dombach with an answer. Brings it to 9-5 in favor of the Streaks. Grace Myers has the ball there. She gives it to Robinson. Goes back up top.
Another open look for Township.
Oh, that one didn't go, though. That might be the first one that they didn't get. Good rebound coming down. Here comes Warfel. Dribbling with the right. Just crosses back over. Gets it up top to Dom.
Good hustle.
Overly's dribbling. Oh, it is stolen there by Bella Stern. Ball's over on the right wing with Julia Weaver. Gets it up top to Bergstrom. Ball went out of bounds there. Will go to Warwick.
The pace is right now up and down. Warwick's doing a good job getting to the rim. Township's getting a lot of open looks on the perimeter right now.
They are, and Manheim Township calls the first timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. With that timeout, we would like to thank the Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster for sponsoring our inaugural season of Lebco Sports live coverage. They are serving the bone and joint and muscle needs of the region since 1972. Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster provides experienced, specialized orthopedic care to Lancaster and surrounding communities, with convenient locations in Lancaster, Lebanon, Spooky Nook, Willow Street, and Ephrata. Working as a team with each patient, our experts deliver personalized treatment and support that always puts patients first. OAL is proud to offer accessible, compassionate care close to home. As the area's first walk-in orthopedic urgent care facility, they understand how critical and timely care is after an injury. Orthopedic Urgent Care offers prompt evaluation, diagnosis, and often immediate treatment by orthopedic specialists, eliminating the need for an emergency room visit. No appointment is necessary, and most insurances are accepted. We're getting ready to get back to the action. Warwick bringing the ball in near sideline. Goes into Warfel. She takes it right up to Allie Burr. Ball is on the line. Coach wanted it called. Not getting it from the officials. Warfel's dribbling. Lost it there. Stolen by Julia Weaver. Go ahead, Coach.
She's a good defender. I know that when we play them, she guarded our best player, Olive Brandt. Did a good job on her. Makes her work hard. Nice look inside. You know, it's tough if they can hit the three. You know, you go out and you defend them, and then they can throw it inside as well.
That was a good bucket there by freshman Emily Brandt, and then it comes right back down. A nice bucket by Grace Myers on that end. You talked about your player, Olive Brandt. She was a recent 1,000-point scorer, was she not?
She was. She worked really hard this season. She works hard every season, and she's a kid. You know, she's in the gym all the time.
That's a big three there for Warwick. That was by Allie Burr. Warwick with the full court press. What do you think about that strategy, Coach?
Yeah, I think they need to maybe try to speed up Township a little bit. Just, you know, not allow them to dribble up the floor, but, you know, they definitely want to get out on that three-point line, and that's why. She, you know, that was in and out. And, again, Sanaya Robinson doesn't need space.
I was going to say, you said it earlier, she didn't need a lot of space, and she showed it with that. It looked like it was going in from here just off the back iron a little bit. But they closed out a little bit better on that one, and because of that, it is only a one-point game, 11-10 in favor of Township with 3:14 left in the first quarter. Warfel now has the ball up top, swings it over to Allie Burr. Sorry. Nope, that's right. Back up to Burr.
She
a little bit short. Look at the hustle there by Sophia Dombach. You love to see hustle like that, don't you, Coach?
I do. That's a great, you know, play. You know,
let's talk about that A&J Pizza replay.
I mean, she came out all the way from the right wing. Didn't give up on it. That was a great hustle.
It's down low to Grace Myers. Over to Burr. Kicks it out. Dombach. Misses that one. That was okay. It's rebounded by Grace Dumser. Coming up by Julia Weaver. Gets it over to Sanaya Robinson.
Looking to run a set here. Weaver with another three. Oh.
Off the iron. They are not afraid to shoot from outside, are they, Coach?
No, they're not. And they do. They have several weapons on that three-point line. You know, they can get it inside, too. They're great at driving to the rim. I think Warwick's doing a good job of that right now as well. I think they're getting to the rim. You know, it looks like they settled in a little bit in this first couple minutes.
Yeah, I would say so. They're doing a nice job. Ball goes down to Grace Myers. Looks like it was tied up. Coach wanted the jump ball, not called. Over to Dombach. Back out to Warfel. Dribbles with the left hand. Looks for a shot. Goes up. Gets the foul.
She's quick. She's quick out there. She has a quick first step. You know, Warwick lobbed it into number 35, and you saw a lot of white shirts. So, you know, they did a good job of collapsing, but, you know, props to Warwick for kicking it back out and not letting it get tied up.
Warfel misses the first. She does still have a chance to tie the game here with this free throw with 2:11 left in the first quarter. And that was a first foul on junior Julia Weaver on the play. Warfel ties it up at 11, 2:11 to go.
You know, Warfel just recently had a game and made a really clutch play at the buzzer. She's a nice player.
Robinson on the wing. Goes up top to Weaver. Down to Bergstrom. Dribble.
Trying to get Sanaya's shot.
That was an excellent play, one-on-one. She created that play with the stop and pump fake, got the defender moving.
So far she's hit a three. She's had a little mid-range jumper. She's playing good D.
Warfel pulls up the three. Almost had it off the glass, rebounded there by Bergstrom. Robinson's coming down on the far side. Resets the offense back up top to Weaver. Down to Brandt, back up to Weaver. Over the corner to Dumser. Back up top to Weaver. Just resetting the offense. Got into the key, kicks it back out to Robinson. Left, off the left, pulled up the three just off the back iron, but a huge rebound there by Bergstrom. Robinson trying again, same spot. Better result this time. That's a big shot. Her second three of the night brings the score to 16-11.
Yeah, you can't leave her open on the three-point line.
And I think if you're going to give her two chances, you are just asking for trouble.
Agreed.
There's two chances from the exact same spot. And then Warwick with the turnover.
And that was a great rebound by Township, that offensive rebound. Didn't force it back up, kicked it back out, looked for the guards. You know, and I think almost every player in that possession for Township touched the ball.
Yeah, the ball movement was beautiful, as you touched on, Coach. And that is something that Warwick's going to need to do. They're going to need to get bodies on players when the ball goes up because they cannot give Township second shots.
Let's see, Warwick looks a little more aggressive on this possession.
Same spot. That was a little long for Robinson. Kaylee Seigel's bringing it up. Looks back to the top. Was poked away by Bergstrom into the backcourt, so no backcourt violation. Kaylee Seigel's bringing it up. She kicks it over. Emerson Overly. It is stolen by Bergstrom, and she's on the run. Breakaway with 5 seconds left. Goes up, does not get it to fall. One, the heave is going to fall short. That will bring our first quarter to a close, 16-11. We're going to stay with you, though, and talk to you about some of our sponsors that help bring this production together. We would like to thank YG Productions for making our coverage possible in our first season. Whether you're looking for photos or videos to think about your big event or want to stream live your fans, YG Productions has you covered. They will put in the time and effort required to make your project something special. Visit their website and see their portfolio at ygproductions.org. Lebco Sports, we also want to thank them. They serve as the leading source for Lebanon County athletic news. Our mission is simple, to celebrate our local athletes. And we'd like to thank them and Dan Rao for their support this season. A&J Pizza, I'd like you to meet the pizza that everyone in Lebanon County is talking about, the Old World. also known as the Upside Down Pizza. It focuses on the delicious sauce on top and the texture baked to a crisp perfection, made for any time of the day. And when lunchtime rolls around, we've got you covered with lunch specials that delivers a great quantity for a great price. 2 great reasons to stop in at A&J Pizza and Restaurant. Coach, we're going to take a quick second. Talked a little bit about our Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster's players to watch. We highlighted the sophomore for Manheim Township, Sanaya Robinson, as being their electric leader, their scorer. What do you think stands out about her performance in that first quarter?
I think, I think it's impressive to see that she's a sophomore and she knows she's the leader. And, she kind of took control. Like, I think you saw her doing a little bit of everything. She was playing really good defense, looking for her shot. She wasn't passive. And I think that's what she needs to do for them to be successful.
She had the pass there, was poked away out of bounds there by Warfel. Question, did you see a transition in her and a step up when Liv Palmer got injured?
I believe so, absolutely. Yeah, and Liv was a great, just a great leader, Division I athlete, great defender. So yeah, I think somebody's got to step up and take on the things that she brought to the court.
There's a 3 by Weaver. It is good. Great pass there by Sanaya Robinson. So she is doing a little bit of everything as she pokes the ball away there on defense. She is playing both ends of the floor magnificently so far in this matchup.
Again, it's tough when you have 2 people able to hit threes from the perimeter. But, I think Warwick needs to, just keep being aggressive, closing out those shooters, and just to not, back off of them.
And they've shown us that they have more than just 2. They've had 3 people hit threes so far in this game already. So it's not just Weaver and Robinson getting it done. There are others on that end of the floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Warwick tries to answer with their own 3 short. Rombach does hustle again. Dalbach tried to save it like she did earlier, just not successful this time as her toe was on the line.
She hustles. I like the way she goes after it. Doesn't hang her head on the missed shot and really just tries to get it back.
Robinson's bringing it up the court. Got some space with the pick there. Pulls up the 3 off the front iron. Rebounded there by Dalbach, so she was there for that rebound too. She's not the tallest out there, but she is hustling. And as a coach, I'm sure you can appreciate, they always say, one of the things that requires 0 talent is hard work.
Absolutely. Rebounding, defense, going after loose balls, all of that.
Stolen there by Weaver. She's bringing it up, finds Bergstrom, kicks it down to Robinson. She does finish that one. Lead is now ballooned to 10. 21-10, or 21-11, excuse me, and Warwick calls their first time out of the game. We're going to take a look at that A&J Pizza replay.
Toby Bergstrom, it's a great look. She plays the forward position. So, again, she's not a guard. That's a great look. And a great job of Sanaya to kind of get up the floor and get in a position to score.
Yeah, she is executing on both ends of the floor, which is helping the flow and helping Township get up to that 10-point lead that we are so happy to bring to you thanks to Lebanon Federal Credit Union, who is sponsoring today's stream. They serve our community and have been since 1969. For more than 5 decades, LFCU has focused on people over profit, offering trusted local banking built on relationships. From everyday checking and savings to loans and financial guidance, they're committed to helping neighbors succeed. When you bank with LFCU, you're supporting a financial partner truly rooted in the community. Thank you to Lebanon Federal Credit Union for supporting today's stream. So it has been electric. It's been up and down. Sanaya Robinson has been as advertised, which, like you said, is just impressive for a sophomore, taking the leaps that she has this season in leadership and then performing.
Yeah, she averages, I think, about 2.5 3-point made three-pointers a game. She's already, what does she have, 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right, 2 or 3, so she's right up there. Big players show up in big games, and this is a big game. And that's what we love to see. Now our player to watch for Warwick, Warfel's bringing the ball up the floor. Maybe she can help steady the ship, slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, they need to get her going, get her some looks at the rim.
I think, too, because it's been being a very fast pace, Do you think Warwick may want to try to slow it down a little bit?
Yeah, I think they're trying right now to get the ball in the inside, and Township's doing a good job of collapsing. Maybe if they can get their guards. In the very beginning, they were getting to the rim. They weren't falling necessarily, but I think if they go back to that, they have some great guards out on the perimeter.
Warfel driving, got some space, goes up, gets the bucket, and one. What a finish. I'd love to see that one again.
Yeah, that's what I think they need to do. You can see looking in the post player does a good job of kind of sealing. If she can get to the rim and get those N1s, they're right in this game.
And that's what we talked about earlier when they were getting to the rim. The buckets weren't falling, but we said if they get to the rim, the buckets will start to fall, and they'll also get to the line. So right there, 3 points, cuts the lead to 21-14, 5:42 left in the first half. Now, if Warwick can string together some stops, they're going to stay in this game and see if they can turn their defense into offense. But they first have to work on stopping Sanaya Robinson.
Yeah. Another good mid-range look for her.
But
she's doing a good job of coming off those screens and really looking for a shot, and it's a good screen.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the defensive rotation, though, from Warwick stepping up to get in her space when she doesn't need a lot of it for the shots.
That was a good idea. It was a good look, good drive. Township came over, helped on the ball. That's the right pass. Just got to get it there.
But again, the idea is there. The plan is there. They just have to fine-tune that execution, and you're going to start to see results. Robinson bringing up with a really nice crossover at the wing.
You can see she got a little pressure there, more than we've seen. They picked her up out well beyond the three-point line.
And it forced the ball out of her hands, something that we hadn't seen very much of in the first quarter. Brandt there. Great block by Grace Myers, but it will stay with Township.
Number 22 for Warwick, Haley Seigel, freshman, playing on Sanaya Robinson, doing a good job there of denying her the ball.
And that's got to be hard. A freshman coming in, playoffs, stepping up, getting out there on the floor. Weaver at the top. Gets down to Brandt with the nice crossover. Goes for the reverse layup. Blocked by Grace Myers. The official calls a foul. I'd like to see it again because I didn't see the contact from where we're sitting, but we're going to take a look.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. It's tough to tell from this angle.
Do you think maybe she had her hand on her back and was pushing a little bit that we couldn't see from here? Brandt does not hit the first free throw. That foul was on Grace Myers. That was her first of the game. It's still 21-14 in favor of Township, 4:41 left in the half.
Brandt's a freshman as well. Big game for some of these young kids.
Missed both of them. Was rebounded by Warfel. Bringing it up is Zoe Weidman. Gets it back out to Warfel. Gives to Seigel at the top. Over to Grace Myers with the crossover. Back up to Warfel up top. Over to Seigel on the wing. Dribble, drives. Left it a little bit short. The defensive pressure was there. I think it altered her shot. Then I think that may have been a little bit of a frustration play after the shot, wanting to get that ball back.
Yeah, those are the fouls you don't want. Your basket's at the other end of the floor. They have all that way to go. But again, that was a great drive. She got to the rim, just left a little short. Again, that's a freshman. Those are things I think you learn as you play through experiences.
Right, and you're talking about, we keep saying freshman, sophomore. These are two teams that are going to be around for a while, as the core of their team is so young. We had a moving screen there on Toby Bergstrom. Brings the ball back to Warwick. Both teams have 2 fouls this quarter. Still have half the quarter to go. Could see some extra free throws coming if the fouls continue. Warfel over, kicks it over to Weidman. Dribble drive, a little bit short, got the own rebound, but then lost the handle, recovered by Bergstrom.
Another good drive.
Sanaya Robinson going all the way to the cup. Comes up short, couldn't get her own rebound. She was trying hard in there. Warfel's bringing up for Warwick. Gets it over to Seigel. From the elbow, a little bit short again. Rebounded. What do we call? What do we call? The officials come together, call a jump ball. Possession arrow stays with Warwick.
I'll tell you what, Warwick does a great job of going for the offensive rebounds. They hustle. I like their hustle.
Great cut. Thought she was going to go right up for it, but decides to kick out for the three. Comes up short, rebounded by Robinson. Coming down the near side. With the left, brings it, settles it, brings it back up to the top. Crossover after the pick by Bergstrom. Tried to run the pick and roll there. Out of the wing to Stern. Back up to Robinson. What a great defensive play by Haley Seigel. And then Robinson with a great defensive play of her own to stop the drive. Stays with Warwick.
That's definitely what Warwick needs to do. They need to continue to get in those passing lanes. Just like that. Get in those passing lanes. Maybe try to get to the rim a little bit. You know, they're only down 7 points at this point, as many threes as Township has made. They're in this game. They need to keep that defense up on that end of the floor.
Great spin move by Warfel. Gets up to the cup. Can't get it to fall. Excellent spin move and drive, though. Over to Robinson now, going up for Township. And like you just said, they're only down 7. It feels like it's a lot more right now because we're not seeing a lot go in on their end, and we're seeing a lot of threes on the other end, but maybe it's just because they are threes that it seems like it's a bigger lead than 7.
Yeah, I think they kind of went on a little cold spell here. They haven't scored in a little bit.
What I would say, what we're seeing from them, they're relying pretty heavily on the 3-ball right now. They stopped driving and penetrating, which earlier in the game they were dribble, drive, kick out for the open threes. They're not doing that anymore.
You know, and as a coach, I know, our team, when we would go cold from the 3-point line, you tell them, drive. You want to see the ball go through the rim a little bit, get your confidence back.
And there's a 3 by senior Sophia Dombach, who's been the hustle hero for Warwick so far with all of her big hustle plays to get the rebounds. She hit a big 3 there, cut the lead to 4. Robinson drives. Ball goes up top to Grace Dumser, down into Bergstrom. Drives, kicks, but there they got into the paint, just didn't get it to fall. Warwick bring it back up with Dombach. Lost the handle there, went a little bit high, called for the carry.
That was a good push by Warwick. Again, great drive by Township. Again, it didn't fall, but like we were saying, you go cold from the 3-point line. You want to try to get something going to the rim. Legs are, you're getting tired. The pace is up and down. Get something easy. And it's a hard, when you have the open looks, it's something that, the shot is there, but, they have to think about trying to get to the rim.
Yes, absolutely. You need to try to get to the rim. They're doing a great job. We are going to just talk a little bit about LebcoSports.com, as they serve as the leading source for Lebanon County athletic news. Our mission is simple: to celebrate our local athletes. We'd like to thank them and Dan Rao for their support this season. They're helping bring this together for us so that we can bring it to you. We are excited here as we're cutting down to the final minute and 30 of the first half here at Buchanan Gym, Hempfield High School. An interesting note that we didn't bring up in the pregame is that if Township goes on to win this, they will play the final on Friday night on their home floor.
Yes, that's exactly how it was last year. They made it to the championship, and because Township hosts every year, they get to get a home game if they make it that far.
Great defense there, forced a tough shot, which was rebounded by Warwick. Warfel's bringing it up to the top. Gets it over to Burr. Dribbling, good pressure defense. Ended up getting stolen there by Anaya Williams. Kicks it up to Sanaya Robinson. Not sure what she was going to do. She kind of got caught in a hard place.
I think she had the right idea. I think she was trying to let that defender go by her, but maybe, she's so fast, drug her foot a little bit there.
And it happens to the best of us. Warfel bringing it up, still a 4-point game as we hit the final minute of the first half.
With a minute to go and down 4, Warwick wants to, get the most out of this possession. This is a big possession. Get some momentum going into halftime. Good look.
Warfel, great pass down low to Grace Myers with the finish. If you remember, It was 21-11. It is now an 8-0 run for Warwick to cut it to 2. Dumser gives it back to Anaya Williams. Dribble drive, looks for a shot. They're calling an offensive foul on that one. I thought the feet were moving. I'd like to take a look at that one again.
Yeah, they called a walk on that.
So I was wrong. I heard the whistle. I thought they were calling offensive foul when I saw the arrow move. But no, you are correct, Coach. That is a walk.
Got a little set here.
Takes the lead for Warwick. Excellent three
Got
there.
The roll.
What was the whistle? We're going to take a look at that shot.
I like the set they ran there for her. Good. That's a good, solid possession with that much time on the clock going into halftime. Good job.
I think I heard they called a delay of game there for Warwick after the ball. They touched it after it went through the net. Didn't give it to an official, so that's a delay of game call and a warning. Robinson's going to let it roll, so the clock does. Oh, it hit her foot, so the clock's going to start a little bit earlier than she had hoped. Drives the whole way. No one stops her. Comes up short. Rebounded by Burr. That will bring our first half to a close, 22-21. What an amazing half. We're going to take a real quick break, and then we'll get back to you with a recap.
Life moves fast, and injuries can stop you in your tracks. At Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster, we're here when life happens, from sprains and breaks to pain that won't quit. No appointment needed with our walk-in urgent care. State-of-the-art care, expert surgeons, and physical therapy to get you moving again, all under one roof. Trusted in Central Pennsylvania since 1972, caring for families, athletes, and neighbors across our 5 convenient locations. Don't let pain slow you down. Visit OALFixedBones.com to save your spot online today.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast. LebcoSports.com is your headquarters for all things Lebanon County sports. Scores, recaps, and stories behind the athletes and teams you care about the most. When the final buzzer sounds, head over to LebcoSports.com and catch up on everything you might have missed. Then, make sure you follow along for what's coming next.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Buchanan Gym here at Hempfield High School for the first of 2 semifinal matchups in the Girls LL League playoffs between Warwick and Manheim Township. Township, the home team in white, is leading 21 to 22. We're going to look at a couple highlights here.
That was early in the first quarter. First quarter, Township scored 16 points and then kind of went cold in the second quarter.
Warwick here hitting this three. They were consistent. They had 11 in the first, 11 in the second. They keep that pace. They'll have 44 for the game. Robinson had a couple big threes pretty much from the same spot. That one was the second attempt from the same spot where she missed the first one, but an offensive rebound got it right back out to her.
Yeah, they really, I thought Warwick did a nice job of getting to the rim. I thought there was a part in between where they kind of like were settling a little bit for the outside shots, but when they picked up their defense is when their offense really picked up.
And that's what, a lot of coaches will say is that, defense turns to offense, defense wins championships. All those cliches aren't necessarily cliches because most of the time they're true. We're going to get started here. We have swapped sides of the court. Possession arrow has Township starting with the ball. They're going to be moving left to right now on the screen.
You can see right away they're in denial. Warwick's in denial on defense. I think trying to keep that energy up, keep that momentum. They had the momentum, I think, going into halftime.
I would say they finished the quarter. The second quarter was 11-5 in favor of Warwick, so they made some changes, and we'll see what other adjustments Coach Lausch made at halftime to keep her girls going. Quick shot from the elbow there was missed, but rebounded by Bergstrom. Fights through it, goes right back to Williams, up to Robinson, over to Weaver here on the near side.
I think Warfel's, doing a good job of trying to stick with Robinson. She's face guarding her, which is I think what they need to do.
Yeah, she can't beat you if the ball is not in her hands.
Exactly.
Now Williams up at the top on the wing. Hits a three right where we started the game. We're starting the second half very similarly with a big three by Township. Gives them the lead again, 24-22 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Warfel, who just had the ball, she had 7 in the first half. She was our OAL player to watch for Warwick. Ball was stolen there by Weaver as the pass was trying to go back to Warfel. Finds
get another look.
Not the same result, but a rebound by Bergstrom. Was too strong on the putback. Rebounded there by Warfels, bringing it up far side. Gives it to Burr.
Inside.
Grace Myers thought that Burr was cutting when I think it looks like Burr was going to set a back screen. The pass went wayward. Off the back iron for Robinson on the three.
Township's really come out in this half and has grabbed a couple offensive rebounds right away.
Yes, they have. Bergstrom has the ball back up top, finds Weaver. Over to Williams. Dumser picked up the dribble there. Bergstrom's driving on Myers. Myers stayed in front, kept the hands up, made it a tough shot, came off with the rebound then.
Good job of Warwick to not foul, and she got to the rim, but stayed straight up. Didn't make the shot, and which is what you want. You never want to bail a player out when they're driving, especially if they're gonna, there's a possibility they're going to miss.
Yeah, Delmbach with the ball was looking for the pass, was knocked down, no call. She's talking to the ref, trying to figure out why she wasn't called. Let's take a look at that one again on our A&J Pizza replay.
Yeah, she got bumped a little bit.
She did get bumped. I don't know if the ref was saying she was a little bit out of control, so didn't call it. I could see her argument as well, but you don't want to start chirping at the refs early because they do not like that, especially they want it coming from the coaches if anybody's going to talk to them. Robinson from the top of the key. Off the back iron, a little strong. The adrenaline is flowing. Warfel with the rebound. See if she can calm it down a little bit for Warwick. Crossover, had the screen by Burr.
Nice look.
Excellent
great pass.
dish. Yes, ma'am, it was. Grace Myers with the bucket to bring it to 24. We're all locked up here about halfway through the third quarter.
It was a great screen at the top, great look.
Williams goes to the top, gives it to Weaver. Dribbles. Dumser gives it back to Bergstrom, who's driving. Got Myers off her feet, but decided to kick it out. Robinson on the wing. Down to Williams.
Warwick's playing solid D right now.
Myers is not going to go out there to guard Bergstrom that far. She's going to protect the paint. Goes to Weaver. Back to Bergstrom at the elbow. Kicks to Weaver in the corner. That's a three. Does not fall. Early in the game, those threes were falling like nothing. They've had a hard time opening the lid on that rim the second half.
Yeah, and they're open looks. They're not bad looks. They're just not falling.
Warfel thought about that three before passing it back over to Overly. Overly got it after it was poked away by Williams. Goes up top to Burr. Robinson thought she picked her pocket. Referee disagrees and calls the foul. We're going to take a look at that one again on our A&J Pizza replay.
Yeah, that looked clean to me.
That's a tough call. That's one of those, I don't know. Maybe the ref felt they needed to do a makeup call for the pass down there. I mean, I don't want to say I believe in makeup calls, but you never know what's going through their heads. It's a big game for them as well.
Yep.
Warfel at the top. Had it down to Seigel. It was stolen there by Emily Brandt. Like we said earlier, she's a freshman playing a big game. Robinson down to Bergstrom. Back out to Robinson in the corner. Doesn't need a lot of space. Little long on that one. Rebounded by Dombach. Brought up by Warfel. Over to Burr. Back up to Dombach at the top. Over to Seigel.
Doing a good job of ball movement. Everybody's touching the ball. You know, and that's usually what will happen when you get the entire team involved.
They reversed the floor beautifully to Warfel, who then drove, finished it at the rim to give Warwick the lead, 26-24. Williams for three, long. All right, Coach, I think that's maybe 3 or 4 possessions down the floor where we've seen nothing but three balls.
Yeah, I again, you know, when you go cold from the three-point line, it's tough because as a player, they're open looks. But again, you just want to get to the rim, especially if you haven't scored in a couple of possessions, playoff game. You want to get to the rim, you know, maybe get to the foul line, you know, work the ball a little bit, get everybody touching it, trying to get something easy.
And that back cut down on the other end was poked away by Weaver, which then led to Williams driving, like we just talked about, getting to the rim, getting a foul, ties the game, 26-26, 2:12 left in the third with a chance to take the lead. We're going to look at that again.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Get something going to the rim. You know, you've given Warwick a foul. Just something. You want to see that ball go through. You want to kind of stop the you know, get out of that little shooting slump, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, you had to stop the bleeding a little bit, and also, like you said, just see the ball go through the rim helps. Bergstrom with a great hustle, thought she had the rebound, but it was taken by the sophomore for Warwick. Seigel's driving, was guarded there by Bergstrom. Goes back out to Seigel, up to Dombach at the top. Warfel has
the ball in Warfel's hands.
Three goes off the back iron, rebounded, and goes right back up.
That was something that
we're going to take a look at that foul again. So, you could see Anaya Williams
did a good job of using her left hand there.
But Anaya Williams didn't stay straight up, which is what caused the foul. Get Warwick at the line, shooting two. First one is in, gives Warwick the lead again, 27-26, 1:48 left in the third quarter.
Warwick did a good job in the first half of getting offensive rebounds. Right there is another example.
That one off the back iron, their hustle, but again, yes, ma'am, you're right. Warfel's got it on the wing. She pulls up from deep, and she hits it from long range. That's a shot Steph Curry would be proud of.
Those are things as a coach that really, kill you when it comes off of an offensive rebound.
And then it went a quick shot by Robinson on the other end. Warwick's with the ball again, driving. Right, those are those hustle plays that we had talked about earlier.
Right, and they're easily avoidable. Get a rebound, hustle after it. You don't want to give them second chance opportunities.
And Woodson, I'll ask your opinion on it in a second. Now, it wasn't just an offensive rebound, but it was an offensive rebound on a free throw. As a coach, how frustrating is that?
It is frustrating because you're ready. Now, it was a long rebound, and sometimes those are a little tricky. But, yeah, again, you just hate to give up points on an offensive rebound, on a ball that you could have possessed.
Dombach's drive goes off the irons, picked up and rebounded by Emily Brandt, brought up by Weaver.
Big possession here for Township.
Yeah, with about 40 seconds left in the third quarter, they're down by 4. I think they need a bucket to get their momentum back and also just get their spirits back up before they head into this critical fourth quarter. Bergstrom, excellent move and drive. Great finish at the line, fought through the pressure, cuts it to 2.
She did that many times in this quarter, and that one fell for her. She was getting those shots earlier. They weren't falling.
Yeah. Seigel has the ball in the near wing. Goes to the corner to Warfel, pulls up mid-range jumper, a lost art, but that one was beautiful. Takes the lead back up to 4, 4 seconds. Robinson dribble, had it poked away, pulls up, has a chance, it's good if it goes. Fell short, brings the score 32-28 at the end of the fourth quarter. We're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be back with you to start the fourth.
Life moves fast, and injuries can stop you in your tracks. At Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster, we're here when life happens, from sprains and breaks to pain that won't quit. No appointment needed with our walk-in urgent care. State-of-the-art care, expert surgeons, and physical therapy to get you moving again, all under one roof. Trusted in Central Pennsylvania since 1972, caring for families, athletes, and neighbors across our 5 convenient locations. Don't let pain slow you down. Visit OALFixedBones.com to save your spot online today.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast. LebcoSports.com is your headquarters for all things Lebanon County sports. Scores, recaps, and stories behind the athletes and teams you care about the most. When the final buzzer sounds, head over to LebcoSports.com and catch up on everything you might have missed. Then, make sure you follow along for what's coming next.
Welcome back to Buchanan Gyms. We're getting ready to start the fourth quarter of our first of 2 semifinal matchups in the Lancaster Lebanon League Girls Playoff Semifinals. At the beginning of the game, we had talked about Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster's players to watch. We were watching Sanaya Robinson for Township. How many points did she have, Coach?
Sanaya Robinson is 13 points, and I think she had about 8 in the first half, I believe. Yeah. So she, still steady scoring. Her 3 hasn't really fallen this quarter. But they're getting the looks. But again, they might want to consider trying to get to the rim. The one time they got to the rim, they got an and one.
Right. Dombach took it in, missed it there. Rebounded by Jillian Flowers.
Another offensive rebound by Warwick, and another good look.
Missed that 3. It's coming down the court with Weaver for Township. They're down by 4. Over to Bergstrom. Out to Brandt. Over to Williams. Up to Weaver at the top. Down to Brandt. Dribble drives. Thought about a shot. Kept her pivot, which was nice. Bergstrom drives. Out to Williams. Over to Weaver at the top. Back to Bergstrom. Brandt in the wing. A lot of ball movement. That's an open look. That's the look you're looking for Sanaya Robinson. Big shot there.
Yeah, that's a good looking 3. It's out of your offense, coming, not a stop and pop. It wasn't a quick shot. They ran their offense a little bit there.
One of the things I've noticed so far in this game is after every bucket that she has made a follow-up defensive play on the other end. It's like it gets her blood flowing. She's ready to go, amped up to make a defensive play.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that a lot at Lebanon. If you let her get open and then she picks it up on the defensive end.
Ball's up top to Seigel. Gives it over to Overly. Back over to Seigel. Goes up to Warfel, then back down. Now it's down in the paint. Finds someone on the wing. Myers drives. Rebounded there. Ball's loose. What's the call? We have a foul.
Again, an offensive rebound for Warwick. You know, they're big on the inside. You know, Township's really got to box them out and go after it, but they seem to. But you know, I give credit to Warwick. They go after it.
Yeah, and that was Robinson's second foul of the game. We're in the fourth quarter, so not that big of a deal. That's a 3 if it goes. It was short, rebounded by Robinson, bringing it down to the other end. It's a 1-point game, has a chance to take the lead.
He really pushed the ball there.
Oh, was trying to find Williams on the other side. I think it got tipped. Warfel's bringing it up. She had 14 to enter this fourth quarter. She was our OAL player to watch for Warwick, and she's living up to that hype as well.
She had 7 points in the first half. She's, I think, got about 5 in the second half, maybe more. And she's really doing a lot. She's playing defense. She's handling the ball. And she made some key buckets to kind of get them in the lead.
Yeah, Overly on the wings, dribbling with Williams on her. Goes back up. Seigel's dribbling. Robinson, I'm sorry, was trying to go steal. Went on the ground. Whistle's blown. Let's see what the call is. Right. And
looks like they called a foul here.
that's what it sounded like. But also to touch on what, we're going to look at that one again for our A&J Pizza replay.
A little reaching foul there.
Yeah, I think it was with the going down to the ground. She had her hand on her arm. They're going to call that every time. They love the aggression, but need to keep it clean. Warfel on the drive. Seigel's driving over the wing. Looks for Warfel. She's got it. Robinson on her. Ball goes out, and they call a travel because she went down. But I would say both of our players to watch have been doing it on both ends of the floor. Is they're guarding each other also.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think, the go-tos, they play the same position. Both of them are, a high-stake game, and they need to be out there leading their squad.
Right. I mean, we've seen it in other matchups where coaches don't have their star offensive player guarding the other team's best player, but in a matchup like this, you need to have best on best.
Yeah, I know that Olive Brandt for us, every night we had her on their best player, and I know she worked and never had a sub. We never took her out, and she did both ends of the floor and did a great job.
I would not have wanted to see the conditioning at your practices if she was able to go the full 32.
I didn't need to condition. We just did it in games.
That's true. Warwick with the rebound going up. Warfel with the ball. Still up by 1 with 4:50 left in the game. Down to Grace Myers at the paint. Was poked away by Brandt. Kept alive, though, by Myers.
Warwick needs to settle down here a little bit. Get a good possession. Maybe use some clock. They're in the lead right now, 4.5 minutes to go. They don't need to panic.
They do not. Ball goes down to the paint. Looks good wraparound pass for Grace Myers. She hits it. That's a big bucket to take the lead to 3 with 4:20 left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's a big jumper. And again, they had some trouble there in the beginning of that possession, and then they slowed it down, got a good look at the rim.
Robinson pullback 3 ties the game. That's a dagger right there, 34-34. I would love to see that one again. She hit a beautiful step back 3 for one of our players to watch.
Warwick can't forget about her. She's a player. She likes these moments. She wants the ball in her hands, and that's a wide open look for her. What is that? Her 4th 3?
Yeah, and she's seen the ball go through the net, and when you see the ball go through the net, your confidence builds. And the confidence can build when you see the ball go through it, and your confidence builds when you can go to the right doctor. When we like to talk about the Orthopedic Associates at Lancaster, they've sponsored our inaugural season of Lebco Sports live coverage. They serve bone, joint, and muscle needs of the region since 1972. Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster provides experienced, specialized orthopedic care to Lancaster and surrounding communities. With convenient locations in Lancaster, Lebanon, Spooky Nook, Willow Street, and Ephrata, working as a team with each patient, our experts deliver personalized treatment and support that always puts our patients first. OAL is proud to offer accessible, compassionate care close to home. As the area's first walk-in orthopedic care urgent care facility, they understand how critical and timely care is after an injury. Orthopedic urgent care offers prompt evaluation, diagnosis, and often immediate treatment by orthopedic specialists, eliminating the need for an emergency room visit. No appointment is necessary. Most insurances are accepted. We are back in the action here, 4:06, so almost exactly halfway through the fourth quarter. We are deadlocked at 34 apiece. Warwick with the ball, bringing it up with Warfel. Coach.
The first time we've seen Township put on their three-quarter court 1-2-2 trap.
Is this 1-2-2 trap something you saw a lot of in the regular season?
We did, and you know, I think it's to give Warwick a different look, something they haven't seen the entire game, just to get them thinking. You know, now they've fallen back into a man-to-man.
And when you think about it, a lot of when mistakes happen, it's not the mental mistakes happen, but it's because of physical fatigue that causes the mental mistakes.
Yeah.
That could be another reason they're doing it. Robinson dribble drive, stayed with it. The defender didn't want to foul, kind of gave her the bucket, tried to be in the way. 36-34 Township. Ball's with Everly. Gets it down into the paint.
Yeah, I think Warwick's doing a good job
Back
not
up to
panicking.
Absolutely. Back up to Seigel. They were trying to find Warfel. They had a couple screens for it. Didn't get her the ball.
Lots of time left.
Myers, great cut
Good
there
cut.
by Overly. Off the iron, though. Didn't get it up over the rim and hit the corner of that backward square like you want.
That was a good look.
Bergstrom's driving. She kicks it back out. Good poke there by Seigel. They've changed it up. Seigel's now guarding Robinson.
You see what Township does here with the ball offensively. You know, 2:47 is a lot of time, but you know, as a coach, you definitely want your squad to use some time. You know, maybe only take something that's wide open.
That was something we saw in the first half. They weren't doing that. They were rushing a couple shots. I think that's what kind of allowed Warwick to get back into the game.
You can hear their coach yelling, "Pull it out. Want to use some clock."
Williams, she could have taken out, but excellent decision there to pull it back out. Like you said, use some of the clock. Ball's on the ground. Calling a foul there on Sophia Dombach. She is frustrated by the call. She thought she had all ball.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's one of those where when you know they're using the clock and you got to pick it up defensively, you know, because you got to go down and you got to score. But, you know, there's still 2:24 is a lot of time left.
Absolutely. Warwick's calling a timeout, and we're going to take some time to acknowledge some of our sponsors. We would like to thank the YG Productions for making our coverage possible in our first season. Whether you're looking for photos or videos to remember your big event or want to stream live to your fans, YG Productions has you covered. They will put in the time and effort required to make your project something special. Visit their website and see their portfolio at ygproductions.org. We also want to thank LebcoSports.com. They serve as the leading source for Lebanon County athletic news. Our mission is simple, to celebrate our local athletes. We'd like to thank them and Dan Rao for their support this season. So we are getting down into crunch time. We've had some timeouts here. Warwick called that timeout. What's Coach Lausch telling her girls with 2:24 left down two?
I think Coach Lausch is telling them, like, you know, we need the ball, so we have to be up, you know, at least getting a count, a 5-second count from the official, you know, going for steals. You know, do you need to foul yet? You know, I don't know. But you want to definitely go for steals first because you never know what's going to happen.
Robinson has it. They went for a steal. Warfel, I believe, is going to be called for that foul. Tried to get the poke. Yep, that is on Warfel.
And they have you know, 2 more fouls to give before, you know, Township even gets to the foul line.
Now Township's going to call a timeout here. And while they're taking that timeout, we're going to meet the pizza that everyone in Lebanon County is talking about, the Old World, also known as the upside-down pizza. Focus on the delicious sauce on top and the texture baked to a crisp perfection. Made for any time of the day, and when lunchtime rolls around, we've got you covered with lunch specials that delivers a great quantity for a great price. 2 great reasons to stop in at A&J Pizza and Restaurant. We'd also like to thank Lebanon Federal Credit Union, as they are proudly sponsoring today's event, serving our community since 1969. For more than 5 decades, LFCU has focused on people over profit, offering trusted local banking built on relationships. From everyday checking and savings to loans and financial guidance, they're committed to helping neighbors succeed. When you bank with LFCU, you're supporting a financial partner truly rooted in the community. Thank you to Lebanon Federal Credit Union for supporting today's stream. Now, conversely, we talked about what Coach Lausch was telling her girls. What's Township's coach saying right now?
I think Township's saying, we need, take care of the ball. We don't need to do anything crazy. We don't need a contested shot. They're more than likely going to foul, so just protect the ball because you never know if you're actually going to get that call.
Now, when you say more than likely foul, do you think that's a strategy with 2:20 left, or are we just focusing now on just getting a stop?
I think, I'm sure in that timeout, Warwick coach was telling them, let's try to go for steals first. But I think it just depends. It doesn't look like they look like they were going to.
So, they went for the foul there. Let me ask you this, because this is something I haven't seen, is going for the fouls still with 2:13 left. Is it ever too early to go for those fouls?
No, I don't think so. And, and it depends. It depends on, who the opposing team has out there. As a coach, you look at, foul shooting and who can do it, kind of the flow of the game. I don't think, I'd always say, under 3 minutes you start to think about it. But, I know as a coach, I'm telling my team, go for the steals, go for the tie-up, try to get a jump ball, and try to force the ball into certain kids' hands, maybe a kid that's not a ball handler.
Or I'd say in that situation, they got the ball in, but the ball went to Emmeline Brandt, who's a freshman for Township. So maybe that's a strategy for the coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Warwick's taking another timeout here. We're going to take a short break ourselves. We will be back in action with the final 2:09. And welcome back, and as we just got the ball inbounds, there is a quick foul there by Warfel on Robinson, which brings them to 5 fouls in the quarter, so now they will be heading to the line. Coach, what's the strategy here now for Warwick once they get the ball?
I think they got to get it in quick, kind of get a quick shot off. They don't need to, not a dribble down and pop, like maybe run something, but a quick bucket. And Sanaya Robinson's probably not the person you want to send to the foul line. But yeah, I think they got to get it in quick, and we'll see what Township does here. If they put on that 1-2-2 press, kind of slow them down, or they get back and just play solid man-to-man defense.
I was thinking out of that timeout, they must have had the perfect play drawn up that they got the ball into Robinson, who hits both free throws, ice in her veins at this point. Lead is 4 with 2 minutes left. Over to Seigel, up to Dombach at the top of the key. Looking for Warfel, has a couple screens set, didn't see her. Now they found her up on the wing. Goes down to Grace Myers in the paint. Little strong, but is rebounded, kick back up to Seigel. Warfel's got it, finds Dombach on the wing. Over to Seigel, we were slowing it down a little bit. Over to Dombach in the corner, that's a 3, short again, rebounded though by Warfel. Staying here, there is a foul, but it was on the floor. Good rebound again, and we see another offensive rebound from Warwick.
Yep, they've been doing that all game, and that's key. You know, they need to get a good look here at the rim. Get something quick. You know, they're down 4.
That was quick, but it didn't go. But again, another offensive rebound. What's the call? We got a jump ball. Possession arrow goes to Township. That's a big defensive stand and a big hustle to tie up the ball there.
Yep, I think Warwick needs to stay up. They need to press. You know, get the ball in. When they get it in, they need to pressure right away. Maybe try to get a steal. If not, maybe get a quick foul.
How do you keep the ball out of Robinson's hands in these situations?
Yeah, I think you face guard her, you send 2 people at her, you know, and leave someone open and kind of hope that Township throws it into someone else.
So would that be a strategy to force them to go to somebody else? So just leave somebody open and say, no, go give them the ball. We dare you to beat us with them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you got to look at your free throw shooting percentages. You know, Sanaya Robinson is right around 69%, you know, so she's a pretty good free throw shooter.
As proven, hits that one, ice and remains 3 straight from the line. Brings the lead to 5, 39-34, getting down into dire territory for the Warriors. She made them both without even touching the rim on either one of those. She is locked in, coming down the stretch, 6-point game with 1:20 left. Warfel was calling for the timeout, got it there. We're going to take a real quick break, and we will be back with you for the final minute and 22 at our production here with Lebco Sports.
You better listen up if you want to keep his blood. I'm going to show you just what to do until the end.
We're back. We're looking at the huddle for Manheim Township right now. We know coach is saying don't foul, don't want them getting any extra opportunities. While we were off camera, we were talking a little bit about the strategy for the Warriors, trying to find a way to get the ball out of Sanaya Robinson's hands, because when we look at her stats, her free throw shooting percentage is double than the majority of her teammates, which just shows the caliber of a player that she is. Not saying anything negative about any of her teammates, but just shows the high quality and caliber that she is as a shooter.
Yeah, and I think she gets to the rim, you know, gets to the foul line a lot. You know, she likes the 3 ball, but again, she can drive. And, you know, I'm sure they've been in a lot of close games where this kind of situation has occurred before, where, you know, she's going to the foul line at the end of games. You know, these tight-knit games.
Coach Laus was very animated there on the sideline. She was looking for her squad to do something there that they did
they're
not do.
using a lot of clock here.
We've had at least 26 seconds run off on this one possession, which is a lot of time when you're down 6.
Yeah.
Daumbach drives. She gets to the free throw line. She'll be shooting 2. The chance to cut the lead to 4. 54 seconds left. We're going to take a look at that one again, our A&J Pizza replay.
It's a good drive, not to settle for the 3. Gets the foul in, and now she has the opportunity to put some points on the board while the clock is not, you know, ticking.
Right now.
So that's important, I think, for them.
She made that one huge, cuts the lead to 5. And you said that she thought about the 3 or didn't settle for it. You could see she pump faked. She thought about it and then said, no, I have that clear path. I'm going to take that.
Which is good. I mean, she hit 2 threes, you know, early in the game, so it was good. It was a good idea, I think, for her to drive. Again, she's getting points, you know, while the clock's not ticking.
She made them both. 4-point game, 54 seconds left. Ball is in Robinson's hands. They're trying a different strategy. They're not fouling her right now. Or they at least let her get up to midcourt, made her think about making a different play.
Yeah, I thought they had a good opportunity there to trap her in the corner, you know, and maybe see what happens. But again, she's fast, you know, she's quick, she can dribble, she can handle the ball.
She's made her last 4 free throws without even grazing the iron. See what she does with these 2. Another one without even touching iron there. Takes the lead back up to 5, 41-36, with 48 seconds even on the clock. That one hit the rim, but still went in. Takes the lead back up to 6 for Township. Going to need another quick bucket from Warwick if they want to have a chance to stay in this.
You can see they're looking for their go-tos. Mia Warfel.
Sanaya Robinson with the steal. Pump fake, got Dombach moving, falls back, hits the bucket, takes the lead to 8 with about 28 seconds left. I don't want to say that sealed the deal, but that's about as close to sealing the deal as we're going to get.
She really played that passing lane well, and they were looking to get something.
Warfel with the double dribble there to turn it over. Township's ball now. 21 seconds left in the game, up by 8. Manheim Township's going to call one last timeout here, I think, just to get everything finalized and set to make sure that they don't do anything to cost themselves the game. Right? What do you think they're going to talk about right now?
Yeah, I think just talk about being smart. 21 seconds left. Hey, it's one of those timeouts where you're kind of enjoying it, enjoying the moment and taking it all in, and just some last minute, loose ends you want to tie with your team. You don't want to go out there, you don't need a shot. You certainly don't, need to do anything crazy.
Yeah, and then conversely, you're looking at right now, we see Coach Lausch in the Warwick huddle. She's a little more animated, not as smiley. I believe she was really frustrated. She wanted a much quicker shot, I think, that last time down the floor.
Yeah, I think, they used a lot of clock there. And again, they're young players. Maybe they just didn't feel comfortable, felt the defense was doing a good job. But, they did get to the rim, and these are all great learning experiences for teams, especially Warwick. They haven't been here, whether they were co-champs. That was the first time in school history. So this is definitely a learning experience for some of these young kids.
Yeah, and they're also really young. Looking at their roster right now in front of me, there's only one senior on their roster. That's Sophia Dombach. The rest of these players are going to be back.
Yep.
Foul on Seigel there. They did call a push. I think they fouled somebody off the ball, though, because Nia Williams is heading to the line.
Yep, I think Coach got a T there.
She must have been giving the referee an earful. I did not see what had happened, but the ref was not going to stand for it, did call the technical. So now we're going to have Anaya Williams taking 2 free throws with nobody in the key. As a player, because I know you yourself were a player, what is it like taking these free throws with nobody around you?
Yeah, it's just like the way I always looked at it, it's just like practice. I never really kind of felt differently about it.
Okay, well, it looked like practice for her. She stepped up there so calmly and just smoothly stroked it right through without hitting the rim. And again, that now takes the lead 46-36. And as we're watching this score and the gap kind of balloon, the score, I feel, doesn't necessarily tell the story of the game.
No, I think Township really kind of got away here at the end. Obviously they're getting 4 free throws here, 2 for the technical. But, Warwick really hung in the game, especially in the beginning. Township made quite a few threes, kind of came out on fire. And Warwick hung around and did a good job.
And looking up the scoreboard, that right there with that miss, unfortunately, that will keep Sanaya Robinson at 27 points now for the game, which is, she had 13 in the first half, so coming away. Actually, I think she only had 13 going into the third quarter. Excuse me. I think she really ballooned up in the fourth quarter and showed why she was our Orthopedic Associates Lancaster player to watch. And as long as everything holds, unless there's some sort of miracle, I'm going to say she'll be our OAL player of the game, and hopefully we'll get to talk to her afterwards about this performance.
Yeah, she did a great job, did at the end there, handling the ball, getting to the free throw line, started the game hot, kind of went cold a little bit, but, stayed with it. Another 3.
There's a 3 by Warfel. Cuts the lead to 8. That's how it will finish, 47-39. We are going to step away for a quick minute. We will then be back, hopefully with our Orthopedic Associates Lancaster player of the game, Sanaya Robinson. Stay with us.
Life moves fast, and injuries can stop you in your tracks. At Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster, we're here when life happens, from sprains and breaks to pain that won't quit. No appointment needed with our walk-in urgent care. State-of-the-art care, expert surgeons, and physical therapy to get you moving again, all under one roof. Trusted in Central Pennsylvania since 1972, caring for families, athletes, and neighbors across our 5 convenient locations. Don't let pain slow you down. Visit OALFixedBones.com to save your spot online today.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast. LebcoSports.com is your headquarters for all things Lebanon County sports. Scores, recaps, and stories behind the athletes and teams you care about the most. When the final buzzer sounds, head over to LebcoSports.com and catch up on everything you might have missed. Then, make sure you follow along for what's coming next.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Buchanan Gym here at Hempfield High School. As we just finished the first of the 2 girls semifinal matchups tonight, the LL League playoffs. We are here with our Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster player of the game, Sanaya Robinson. First, Sanaya, I want to say congratulations. You were amazing. You were electric. You At the beginning of the game, you are our OAL player to watch, and you met every single one of our expectations, everything that we had talked about. You finished the game with 27 points. I'm going to pass it over to Coach Walborn to talk to you a little bit, ask you a couple questions about the game, and about how you guys are heading back to the championship game on your home floor again.
Sorry. First of all, congratulations. You did a great job. Like he said, 27 points. You came out on fire. Okay, you came out on fire. What were your thoughts coming into this game? I mean, you're only a sophomore, and you just led them right from the beginning.
Well, from last year, we all came here we want to come back with a win. And so my thoughts was to come out here, play the best I can, be with my team, and just play the best that I could that I know.
Yeah, and you did a great job. I thought in the kind of in the middle, you came out on fire, went a little cold. How do you keep yourself up and going? Because obviously you came back you had 2 threes in the second half, a bunch of made foul shots. How do you keep yourself in the game again, being so young?
So, sometimes it'd be rough too, but when I go in the locker room, I look at myself in the mirror and tell me that I'm gonna come out here, finish off, win as a team, and be a team leader, and just come out and do the best that I can.
So I'm just going to ask you a real quick question about that, because you said being a team leader. I saw it tonight on the floor. You were leading the team, and one of the things we talked about in pregame also was the job that you have done in your position after losing senior Liv Palmer to her injury. How has your team come together and rallied together after that injury?
I think we knew what we had to step up when it was done, so we just came out and worked harder, and at practice keep cheering each other on, talking, and every time at practice we think to win practice before the game, so we come out and do it.
Okay.
You did a great job today. What are you saying to your team to prepare for the next big game? A game that you were in last year too. You went back, back to the championship.
I just say that we got this. We've been here before, so we know what to expect, and we've played all the teams that we could see. So it's just come out, work harder, and play the best basketball team.
Yeah.
Now
Good job tonight.
We don't want to give anybody any bulletin board material, but are you going to watch this next game?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Like I said, we don't want to do any bulletin board material, but again, congratulations. So proud of you. Thing that I was probably most impressed with, because I never played the game at a high level like you're playing the game, is how you stepped to the free throw line at the end of the game, ice in your veins. I think you hit 5 of 6, maybe it was 7 of 8 there down the stretch to really seal the game. So just really proud of you, and congratulations.
Congrats. Good luck in your next game.
All right, you are good to go, Sanaya. So that was our Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster player of the game, sophomore Sanaya Robinson from Manheim Township. On your screen right now, you can see some of the highlights. She will get a T-shirt as a result of her being named player of the game from our Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster. Again, seeing some of those highlights right now. Coach, just walk us through it a little bit. What are you seeing? What did you see happen there at the end?
Yeah, I think Warwick didn't really give in. They kept at it. But I do think that we saw some experience come through at the end. Like we mentioned, Township has been in this situation in the playoffs last year, in the championship game. And when you're a young team who's not been in these situations, and you get down, you tend to panic. You think you need a quick shot, or then you start taking some not great shots. But I give credit to Warwick. I thought their offensive rebounding was great. Again, they played tough defense. They didn't really give up. But again, Township came out on top. They knocked some clutch shots down in that second half.
Yeah, they had a lot of big threes second half. More importantly, a lot of big free throws there. Excellent performance. We're still seeing some of the replays, highlights of our player of the game, Sanaya Robinson. She started, like you said, lights out, hit a couple big threes, got cold in the middle. And we're just seeing these replays, just really proud of the performance. They've got to be excited knowing that they're going back to the championship game after fighting through. At one point, the game was 21-11. Warwick went on an 11-0 run to take the lead, 22-21. Then Township just fought back. Like you said, the senior medal was there.
Yep.
With Warwick only having one senior on their roster. So that game was fantastic. We are going to have another game coming up as the Cedar Crest Falcons take on the Ephrata Mountaineers. We are here with you for the long haul. We will be taking a short break. You will be able to stay on the stream, see some highlights from the Cedar Crest game that happened the other night. That was a double overtime thriller. We're going to leave those with you for a little bit. Watch that. We will be back. But again, I want to say thank you to Lebanon Federal Credit Union for putting this together, and all of our highlights by A&J Pizza. All right, welcome back to Buchanan Gym here at Hempfield High School. We just finished the first semifinal game where Manheim Township was victorious in that game against Warwick, and we are now going to get ready to talk about the second semifinal matchup between Cedar Crest, who's our Section 1 co-champs, and Ephrata, our Section 2 co-champs, because like I said earlier today, it is a battle of the co-champions.
Yeah, lots of co-champs this year.
Lots of co-champs. I know some of the seedings were only determined by power rankings and those points, which was a point of contention for some. But here we are in this second matchup, and these two teams could not have had different quarterfinal games. In the first game, Ephrata defeated Columbia 33-14. That was an interesting one, as it was 2-0 at the end of the first quarter in favor of Columbia. But then Ephrata finished the second quarter 11-0, so it was 11-2 going into halftime. Cedar Crest, on the other hand, they had a battle against Lancaster Catholic. They were up the whole game. Catholic took the lead there at the end. And then Ellie Malinowski hit 3 giant free throws with no time left on the clock to go into overtime, where they ultimately won in double overtime. It was a thriller. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about these teams, because you have had first-hand experience with these two teams. So once again, I'm Rob Gantz here with Coach Jamie Walborn. Very excited to be here tonight bringing this to you. Like I said, you've had first-hand experience playing both of these teams. Let's hear about them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely more experience playing with Cedar Crest. They're in our section, but, you know, we did always have a non-league game with Ephrata. Head coach Brian Cirillo, you know, has his team with an 18-4 record, you know, doing a great job. You know, they're co-champs this year. I think this is their third year in a row that they have secured a spot in the playoffs, you know, finished at the top of their section. Their leader on the court, okay, is Leah Caldwell. She's a 5'10 senior. She's been playing varsity ball probably since her freshman year. She's averaging over 12 points a game. She kind of controls the game on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. Really picked up a lot of the scoring, a lot more of the load when Marie McCracken went out with a knee injury. She was their point guard. Really their general on the floor, so, you know, that's a big blow to them. But, you know, Leah Caldwell has done a great job. Her sister, junior guard Alyssa Caldwell, has also stepped up her scoring in Marie's absence. So, you know, looking forward to seeing those two out on the floor, you know, and kind of see what they do. You know, again, they're used to these games as well. They were in the playoffs last year. So we'll see what they can do.
Before we talk about Cedar Crest, I just want to point out that sounds very similar to our first game when we were talking about Manheim Township and their guard, Sanaya Robinson, as she took up a lot of the load when their big player, Liv Palmer, got hurt with a knee injury also. So it's almost a tale of two teams that are very similar that could be a matchup in the final. But we'll first talk about Cedar Crest, because they're not going to want that to be the final.
Right. Section 1 co-champs for Cedar Crest. You know, Ashley Shea has her team a current record at 13-10. You know, she was, you know, third season at Crest, but she's not a new to the coaching world. She spent, you know, 12 seasons at Elko. She was a 2,000-point scorer, played at Penn State. And again, they had a great game with Lancaster Catholic in the first round of the playoffs, double overtime. Ellie Malinowski, 3 clutch free throws as a sophomore with no time on the clock. You know, that's a lot of pressure. And, you know, she's definitely their go-to. She's their team leading scorer. She's averaging 13.6 points per game. She's a great shooter. Another shooter who, if you give her some space, she can let it fly. Really strong. She can get to the rim. Great free throw shooter, 77% from the free throw line. You know, had scored a season high of 25 points January 23rd against us. I remember it well. But yeah, she was, you know, she's battling a little bit of a foot injury, but, you know, I think she's a tough kid playing through. Their other go-to, Kayla Francis. She's a Colgate commit. You know, just scored her 1,000 points. You know, I'm sure that's a lot of stress and pressure kind of off your shoulders. Averaging 12.3 points per game. Another really good free throw shooter, coming in at 75% a game. And that's why they can win those big games, because of free throw shooting.
Absolutely, and you hit on a couple key points. You talked about a couple key players, one from each team that we want to highlight specifically, because they are going to be our Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster's players to watch in this game. First, we're going to go with the visiting Cedar Crest Falcons player to watch, and that is Ellie Malinowski. Like you had said, she's a sophomore averaging 13.6 points per game, who recently in that quarterfinal matchup had a huge moment when she was fouled shooting a three with no time left on the clock, went to the line, all the pressure in the world, nobody in the key, sank all three of those free throws to get to this matchup ultimately by winning in double overtime. And we had talked about it in our first game. You said those free throws, a lot like practice, you don't think about them any differently. She clearly did not, as she made all three.
Yeah, and she looked, I watched the video, she looked confident, like she knew they were going in. But Ellie Malinowski puts a lot of time in, and when you do that, when you're a player like that and you put time in, it's comfortable. Those are the moments that you work for. So that was a big moment for her.
And then conversely, for the home side in this matchup, Ephrata, their OAL player to watch is number 22, Leah Caldwell. She's a senior who's been averaging over 12 points a game while anchoring both the offense and the defense. I'm excited to watch this matchup. We're going to see how it comes down after we come back from this break. Those were our OAL players to watch. And thank you for tuning into this Lebanon Federal Credit Union pregame. We're going to take a short break, and then we will be back with you to start.
Life moves fast, and injuries can stop you in your tracks. At Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster, we're here when life happens, from sprains and breaks to pain that won't quit. No appointment needed with our walk-in urgent care. State-of-the-art care, expert surgeons, and physical therapy to get you moving again, all under one roof. Trusted in Central Pennsylvania since 1972. Caring for families, athletes, and neighbors across our 5 convenient locations. Don't let pain slow you down. Visit OALFixedBones.com to save your spot online today.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast. LebcoSports.com is your headquarters for all things Lebanon County sports. Scores, recaps, and stories behind the athletes and teams you care about the most. When the final buzzer sounds, head over to LebcoSports.com and catch up on everything you might have missed. Then, make sure you follow along for what's coming next.
You better listen up if you wanna keep his love. I'm gonna show you just what to do. Until the end.
Life moves fast, and injuries can stop you in your tracks. At Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster, we're here when life happens, from sprains and breaks to pain that won't quit. No appointment needed with our walk-in urgent care. State-of-the-art care, expert surgeons, and physical therapy to get you moving again, all under one roof. Trusted in Central Pennsylvania since 1972. Caring for families, athletes, and neighbors across our 5 convenient locations. Don't let pain slow you down. Visit OALFixedBones.com to save your spot online today.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast. LebcoSports.com is your headquarters for all things Lebanon County sports. Scores, recaps, and stories behind the athletes and teams you care about the most. When the final buzzer sounds, head over to LebcoSports.com and catch up on everything you might have missed. Then, make sure you follow along for what's coming next.
Ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just heard the national anthem. We had the starting lineups. We are ready to get this one underway. Starting for the Cedar Crest Falcons, we have Ellie Malinowski, Ryan Stopper, Allie Groff, Olivia Young, and Kayla Francis. Then starting for Ephrata, we have Alyssa Caldwell, Jaslyn Sanders, Emily Bender, Leah Caldwell, and Ella Pike. Caldwell for Ephrata and Malinowski for Cedar Crest are our OAL players to watch this game. If it comes down to crunch time like it did on Monday night, we will look for one of those two players to be in the spotlight. It was Malinowski on Monday for Cedar Crest as she hit those 3 giant free throws with zeros on the clock. Down 3 when she went to the line, took it to overtime, couldn't get across the finish line in the first overtime, went to a second one, and they got the job done to get them here. The winner of this game will play Manheim Township, who was the winner of our first matchup tonight. We're getting ready for tip-off as we have Sanders jumping. It is won there by Kayla Francis for Crest, and we tipped off right on time at 7:33.
Lots of pressure here from Ephrata right off the bat.
And they got the steal, but Cedar Crest back on it on the floor. Ephrata's got it, going up on, looks down low. Ball with Sanders, drive Caldwell. That was a 3 attempt there by Leah Caldwell. The sisters were involved there early. Malinowski over here on the corner.
Yeah, Leah's 5'10", but she can make that shot. She's a 3-point threat.
Olivia Young on the wing, goes up top to Malinowski. Over to Groff. Back in the middle there to Ryan Stopper, drives off the backboard and the rim. No good. While we are not playing in Ephrata, they definitely brought their fans out tonight. As you can hear, both the cheerleaders and a student section that came from Ephrata.
Got a good student section over there.
Ball is with Ephrata. Coach Shea not happy with that call. She thought it was tipped off of Ephrata again. Ball goes into Alyssa Caldwell. Back up top to Sanders. Over to Leah Caldwell. Up to Ella Pike at the top. Sanders had it poked away, but she regains control.
Lots of upperclassmen on the floor again tonight. Cedar Crest starts 4 sophomores.
That is wild. These teams are going to be around for a long time.
Jaslyn Sanders for Ephrata is a freshman.
Free ball is up and good there by sophomore, as you were just talking about. Emily Bender, our first bucket of the game, is a 3-pointer. But Cedar Crest really quickly backed down, had the shot go up. Kayla Francis tried to go back up, fumbled it a little bit. Ball went out of bounds. Ball to Ephrata, where we're going to have Emily Bender bringing it in after she just hit a big 3 down at the other end. Ball goes into Alyssa Caldwell, walking it up the court. No rush, not any pressure. Coach Cerullo calling out the set, which then is called out by Caldwell. Ella Pike driving, kicks it back out. Another 3-ball attempt. Wow. In, out, off the backboard, and right back in. Emily Bender, 2 for 2 from behind the arc to start this game on a 6-0 run for the Mountaineers.
She looked like she wanted that one. She's feeling it.
There's a drive to stayed up, was taken there by Caldwell, driving down, looks up, pass is a little too tall. She couldn't climb the ladder and get it. It is turned over, Cedar Crest ball. What do you think Coach Shea is trying to tell her girls right now as they're getting ready to inbound?
Yeah, I think, just to relax a little bit. Yes, they have 2 threes, but it's very early, and just offensively relax. I think, they're pushing the issue a little bit. Maybe you want to get the ball in Kayla or Ellie's hands, get them a look here at the rim.
Ball's with Ryan Stopper on the way. She takes it back up top to Allie Groff, like you just mentioned. Get the ball into Allie's hands. Cross on the set. Right from the free throw line, Kayla Francis hits the bucket. Their first points of the game, 6-2. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Ephrata slowing it down again.
For being a 6'1" center, she likes that mid-range. She's a good shooter also from the mid-range shot. She can shoot threes as well.
Sanders on the drive, goes the whole way. There was contact. Who are they going to call? No foul call. They called a travel there on Jaslyn Sanders. We're going to take a look at that one again with our A&J Pizza replay.
Great help defense by Francis. Just stepped up. That could have been a charge as well. That was great defense by Francis.
I thought the ref was going to send the charge signal. Gets turned over there. Sanders has the ball. Kicks it over to Caldwell. Inside, goes up. Now they're going to call a foul on that one. I didn't see it from this angle. Let's take a look again if we can. Had the spin. Goes up. I saw it there with the right arm there by Olivia Young. Well, didn't stay straight up, was reaching over. Free throw up and good there by Leah Caldwell. Like I said, our OAL player to watch for Ephrata. Oh, misses that one. Rebounded by Olivia Young for Cedar Crest. She is coming down. Gets the ball to Ryan Stopper. Right there, same spot from earlier for Olivia Young. Was rebounded by Caldwell. She's driving. Sanders at the top, dribbles to the right, stops at the elbow, kicks it up. That is the third three for sophomore Emily Bender. She came to play, and that forces Coach Shea into an early timeout with the score 10-2. What a shot, what a shot.
Yeah, that's a good look. She's open. She looks confident. Good timeout by Coach Shea. Get her kids settled. Kind of, talk about that on the defensive end. How they're going to combat that.
Yeah, she was confident in that shot, and just like you can be confident if you go to the Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster. We'd like to thank them for sponsoring our inaugural season of Lebco Sports live coverage, serving the bone, joint, muscle needs of the region since 1972. OAL provides experienced, specialized orthopedic care to Lancaster and surrounding communities. With convenient locations in Lancaster, Lebanon, Spooky Nook, Willow Street, and Ephrata, working as a team with each patient, our experts deliver personalized treatment and support that always puts our patients first. So here we are, 10-2, 3 big threes by Emily Bender, and a free throw for Caldwell gives them their 10 points. And a Kayla Francis jumper from the free throw line has the 2 for Cedar Crest. Francis from the same spot, again free throw, little long on that one, rebounded by Jaslyn Sanders. Coming up the far sideline, she's not stopping, going the whole way. Looked to find Caldwell, got knocked out by Cedar Crest. Ball will stay with Ephrata.
Yeah, Emily Bender has made 4 3-pointers this whole season and has 3 in the first couple minutes of this first quarter.
Well, you know what
4 total prior to this game.
You know what they say, Coach? Save the best for last. She's saving it for tonight.
Props to her for stepping up and shooting that.
Right. Caldwell got her own rebound, went right back up. You can see when you see the bench, McCracken, the injured senior, she is cheering her team on. She's standing up at each play. She is cheering on her squad. She wishes she could be out there tonight, but she is there in spirit. She's cheering them on.
Yeah, and she's she was a great point guard, really physical point guard, just a good floor general. So I'm sure, she left some big shoes to fill, but, I see not Leah Caldwell, but her sister is, her sister is kind of bringing the ball up the floor, handling that now. So props to her for kind of stepping into that role.
Yeah, Leah's been off the ball most of the game, like you said. Alyssa's bringing the ball up as she did on that one, which then led to Leah getting to the free throw line, making both free throws.
You can see effort here in a little 2-3 zone, kind of slowing them down.
Three from the far corner is long. Good rebound by Francis. Right back up. Missed it. Got her own board. Turns garbage into gold with that one. Makes it 12-4.
It's a good job by Francis to stick with it. You know, didn't get the first one, but, you know, again, sticking with it, battling.
Looks like Afrida just threw the ball away on the inbound after that putback. So now it will be Cedar Crest ball with a chance to get 2 more points. Francis with all 4 right now for the Falcons. Ball's up top with Allie Groff. She swings over to Davis, back up to Groff. In the middle to Francis. Thought about shooting where she shot from a couple times tonight and had some luck. Groff on the drive, brings it back out. A lot of defensive pressure from the Mounts tonight.
They're doing a good job of talking to each other. Alyssa Caldwell's on Ellie at Malinowski. Face guarding her, and there they got a foul.
Yep, Sanders was out there on the ball. There was a block. Believe they were calling it on Leah Caldwell. Nope, they called it on Sanders. She got the block. That's her first. Allie Groff's bringing in. The refs got the clock going. Got to get it in. Got to get it in. They do. Good. Malinowski had it taken away by Alyssa Caldwell. She goes coast to coast and finishes with the left hand. Takes the lead to 10, 14-4 effort with 2:25 left in the first. But now Cedar Crest goes coast
right
to
back
coast.
at 'em.
That's what we need to see there as Ryan Stopper went the whole way and finished nicely with the right hand. Cuts the lead to 8.
Yeah, that was a good job by Crest to, you know, get it in quickly, get down the floor.
Sanders has the ball in the corner, looks down low, kicks out Leah Caldwell. That one was long. And rebounded by effort. Looks like they had a foul called on Ellie Malinowski.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Ephrata is hustling right now. We're going to take a look at that replay presented by A&J Pizza.
I think she just kind of incidental, tried to box her out.
Yeah, it looked like both girls going for it. One fell that made the call. Hits the ball up top to Leah Caldwell, swings it back to the corner for Alyssa Caldwell. They probably run that play a couple times in the backyard of the driveway, but went off of her leg, goes out of bounds. Cedar Crest ball being brought in by Ava Lesser. With Allie Groff bringing it down. Ephrata picking up at half court.
Yeah, it looks like a very soft, 2-3, maybe just to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, looks like it. Goes down to Francis. Gets it back up top to Groff. Ryan Stopper on the wing, looks to drive. Gets it back up top. Lesher with it, brings it back over to Stopper. Back up top to Groff. Back over to Stopper. She's got it, looks to drive. Stops at about halfway between the three-point line and the paint. She's got it on the wing, driving again. Stops, met by Leah Caldwell to stop that drive. Good pressure by Ephrata on that. Asa Davis swings it back over to Stopper.
Yeah, I think Crest needs to get the ball. Good shot.
That's a shot there.
They stayed on the right-hand side of the court for a couple of passes there. Maybe some more ball reversals, get some of those perimeter players open.
Yeah, but that was a big shot. One of the ways to break a zone is hitting some shots, and that's what just happened there. Now Leah Caldwell on the drive, goes the whole way to the bucket. Right hand a little too strong, rebounded by Francis. Crest slowing it down a little bit. There's 35 seconds. Do they need to rush and get a shot before the buzzer?
I think they want to hold here and try to get one good one, end of the quarter. They're only down 5.
Yeah, it looks like you're right. It looks like that's what they're doing. They want to get the perfect shot. Now, their last possession, they used a lot of clock also, and they found a good shot, hit the 3 to cut it to 5. It's now 14-9, 15 seconds left. Looks like they're doing something very similar with this possession.
Yep.
Stopper has it up to Groff.
A
Ball's
little
loose.
miscommunication there.
Lesher's got it. couldn't get a shot off there. Like you said, a little bit of miscommunication there at the top caused the ball to go wayward. That will bring our first quarter to a close, 14-9 in favor of the home Mountaineers. Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster is bringing this game to us. They're sponsoring our inaugural season. They are proud to offer accessible, compassionate care close to home. As the area's first walk-in orthopedic urgent care facility, they understand how critical and timely care is after an injury. Orthopedic urgent care offers prompt evaluation, diagnosis, and often immediate treatment by orthopedic specialists, eliminating the need for an emergency room visit. No appointment is necessary, and most insurances are accepted. We'd also like to thank YG Productions for making our coverage possible in our first season. Whether you're looking for photos or videos to remember your big event or want to stream live to your fans, YG Productions has you covered. They will put in the time and effort required to make your project something special. Visit their website and see their portfolio at ygproductions.org. So, Coach, what's Coach Shea telling her girls after that first quarter down 5?
Just maybe get the ball. If they're going to sit in the 2-3 zone, Kayla Francis needs to get some touches. That's going to open up the outside. That's going to open up the perimeter for those guards. They didn't really get it into her. She needs to post up hard in there. I think defensively, they didn't do bad defense. She came out, Emily Bender came out and hit 3 threes. Not really a three-point shooter, before, like she made 4 the entire season. So, I think just keep doing what you're doing. Try to weather that storm. It's a great job by Bender, but they need to continue. I think they're doing a good job of help defense.
So on that one, we had Alyssa Caldwell go for a drive, rebounded by her sister Leah. She went back up, thought she was going to get fouled. She ended up with her travel, turning it over.
Yeah, she put that other foot down.
Yep, can't do that. The big stop there for Cedar Crest to start the second quarter. Balls with Davis on the wing.
Effort us back in the man-to-man.
They're in the man-to-man. They are flying all over the court. It looks like they are just moving very quickly right now and rotating nicely.
Yep, Crest likes to play, sometimes they like to play slow.
There's a 3, a little long.
Good rebound.
Good rebound there by Addison Davis. Back up, balls, another big rebound. Big rebound there by Ryan Stopper. Went up for the block there and picks up the foul. We're going to take a look at that one again to see what they call.
That was a great cut by Ryan Stopper. Keep going to the basket.
See, she cut there, got her own rebound. Above 2 effort players, didn't give up. When you don't give up, you play with the heart, you get
like
rewarded.
all ball there.
Well, the ref thought otherwise, though, Coach. So we got 2 at the line for Cedar Crest, but you know the saying, the ball don't lie. That one went off the back iron. So that one was a miss by Ryan Stopper. It's 14-9. She's got a second free throw with a chance to cut it to 4. She makes that one. It is a 4-point game now, 14-10, 7 minutes left in the first half. Alyssa Caldwell bringing the ball down the floor. Crossover at the top, gives the ball to Sophia Devonshire, who entered during the last break. Ball goes over there to Mara Clark. Emily Bender was attempting to match her season total on 3s right there with that shot, but it went off long. Crest fighting for the ball. Looks like
Got a good look there. It was a great drive by Stopper.
We're going to take a look at that one again because I thought maybe it got touched by effort at last.
Ooh, that's close.
That was close. These officials have a very tough job. They're doing a nice job so far tonight in both games. Ball goes in to Alyssa Caldwell to bring it up with a 4-point lead.
I think the last couple possessions, Cedar Crest has played good, solid defense. Rebounding the ball, not going for steals, keeping their players in front, forcing them to take some contested shots.
Effort is swinging the ball around the perimeter quickly. It's like a hot potato. Looks for Leah Caldwell at the top, pump fakes. Emily Bender with it, lost it. But it was recovered there by Mara Clark. Over to Leah Caldwell. Emily Bender has it. Going over to Alyssa Clark. 3-pointer at the top of the key. Hit off the back iron, then hit the top. That will go the other way, as that was a 3 by freshman Sophia Devonshire. Went wayward. Cedar Crest ball, 14-10 with 5:54 left in the half. Paige Van Dette had it, goes up top to Allie Groff. Swings it over. That's Olivia Young. Back up to Groff. Looks for a
they're
down
really
screen.
guarding Ellie tough.
Kayla Francis has it. It's a shot from right above the free throw line. Rebounded there by Sophia Devonshire. A foul called as they were coming in from the back. There was Ellie Malinowski. Think she's getting a little frustrated. The defense is playing her very tough.
Oh, they called that foul on Allie Groff.
Oh, that was my mistake. Thank you.
Yeah, that's another one of those fouls. Maybe a frustration foul, missed shot, so far away from their basket, not really something you need to do.
Right. It's hard. It's hard enough to stay in games when you're not giving other teams extra possessions or extra time to set up plays. Caldwell has Alyssa Caldwell. Another foul there. That one on Ryan Stopper.
That's just like an aggressive mistake there. Really trying to get into the passing lanes.
Yeah, let's take a look at it
bumped
again,
into
Coach.
her.
Playing aggressive,
Yeah.
going for the steals just a little bit too much and got there a little late in the foul. Ball goes in the backcourt to Caldwell. Over to Bender. Back to the other Caldwell. More Clark shoots it. That was only a 2 if it would have went off the right iron.
The last couple possessions, Ephrata has taken, an outside shot. Hasn't really scored in a couple possessions.
Yeah, if not. Olivia Young has it on the wing, gives it up to Francis. Goes over to Paige Van Dette. She drives. Oh, ball goes out. It will stay here as it went off of Caldwell there. That was a drive by Ryan Stopper. Didn't make it.
She's gotten to the rim a few times. She keeps getting to the rim. She's just got to finish.
Yeah, she's been aggressive. Same thing we saw earlier in the evening with the first matchup. You get to the rim, good things can happen.
Yeah.
You're either going to get a putback, maybe a foul. Made a reach-in foul there called on Alyssa Caldwell.
Ryan Stopper's, tasked with the job of always being on their best, one of their best players too. She's a phenomenal defender. So she works on both ends of the floor.
Well, she's got a great last name then for being a defender.
Yeah.
Over to Ellie Malinowski. Stolen there by Ella Pike. She's driving. Is she going to go coast to coast? She's going to try. Looks like it got poked away. Good defense. Stays with Ephrata. We're going to take a look at that one again. You see Pike was driving. Excellent play there by Ryan Stopper. Like you just mentioned,
Yeah.
excellent defense.
Good timing there. She read that well.
Ball goes up to Caldwell. Shoots a 3 off the left iron. Rebounded by Francis. Groff bringing it down. Stopped by Caldwell. They're both being very aggressive on the defense. I think there's a lot of hands going on.
Yeah.
Ball goes up and in there for Groff. Cuts the lead to 2. It's now 14-12. Nice drive there by Groff. Coach Cerullo wants to take time and talk about it. And we're going to talk about one of our sponsors, LebcoSports.com. Lebco Sports serves as the leading source for Lebanon County athletic news. Our mission is simple: to celebrate our local athletes. We'd like to thank them and Dan Rao for their support this season. And meet the pizza everyone in Lebanon County is talking about, the Old World, also known as the Upside Down Pizza. It focuses on the delicious sauce on top and the texture baked to crisp perfection. Made for any time of the day, and when lunchtime rolls around, we've got you covered with lunch specials that deliver a great quantity for a great price. 2 great reasons to stop in at A&J Pizza. We also want to thank Lebanon Federal Credit Union, as today's stream is proudly sponsored by them, serving our community since 1969. For more than 5 decades, LFCU is focused on people over profit, offering trusted local banking built on relationships. From everyday checking and savings to loans and financial guidance, they're committed to helping neighbors succeed. When you bank with LFCU, you're supporting a financial partner truly rooted in the community. thank you to Lebanon Federal Credit for supporting today's stream. So, Coach, effort has started off hot, hitting those big 3 threes by Emily Bender. It's kind of cooled off. What's Coach Cerullo talking to his girls about right now?
I think, maybe the last couple possessions they took some threes. They're not really falling right now, which has allowed Cedar Crest to kind of get within 2 points. Maybe work the offense a little bit. Maybe try to get a score off of your defense. But maybe get something in the middle, something, a layup, or go into the rim.
All right. They've been relying on three-point shoot from Emily Bender, who you mentioned only hit 4 all season, has 3 tonight. Leah Caldwell was turned away there by Kayla Francis. Cedar Crest coming down with a chance to tie or take the lead with a 3.
Kayla Francis is a shot blocker. She did a great job there of staying straight up, not going for the block right away, kind of waited for her opportunity. There she is again, getting an offensive rebound.
Yeah, after the miss from Olivia Young. Ball's out on the wing with Francis. She gives it up to Stopper. Stopper's guiding. There's a back cut there by Groff. Stopper goes away, takes it up to Francis. Over to Groff, back up to Francis. Down to Francis from Young. Rebounded there by Jaslyn Sanders, and they're going to call an over-the-back push there on Francis.
Good look at the rim. Kind of went after her shot, bumped her.
That's tough, but I think that was a really good possession for Crest. They worked the ball around. They weren't settling for the outside shots. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a good possession. Unfortunately, Francis now has 2 fouls. You don't want to let her pick up her third before the half. So for the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds, they got to, defensively live without her, and she's a big presence in there.
I'll say Coach Shea pulled her out after that second foul. Just like you said, can't afford her to pick up a third one and potentially miss some time late in this game. Caldwell drives with the right hand, goes up and in over top of the defense of Groff. Nice bucket there.
Good drive. She was contested, too. That was a good finish.
It was a great finish by Alyssa Caldwell there. Stopper drives in the middle, kicks it back up to Young. She finds Groff, sets the pick. Groff goes to the elbow, pulls up, a little bit long. Ella Pike with the big rebound. She thought she was grabbed there, but she was able to keep her feet, didn't fall. Goes up to Caldwell, over to Pike, out to the other Caldwell in the corner, off the back iron. Rebounded there by Ryan Stopper, and it looks like Jaslyn Sanders might have picked up her second foul there. So it might be a similar situation for Ephrata.
Got another good look, good 3, didn't fall. Yep, her second foul, so, again, you don't want to risk those players picking up the third going into halftime.
Yeah, so much to her dismay, Coach Cerullo pulled her out, brought in junior Mara Clark to replace her. It's a 4-point game in favor of Ephrata. The minute and 40 left. Stopper on the wing. Cross over to Ellie Malinowski. She drives with the left hand, tried to go up with the right, went through some contact, no call. Alyssa Caldwell, she's now driving. She slipped down there.
She got a lot of blue jerseys around her.
Yes. Ella Pike drives, crossed over with the left, went up with her left, could not finish.
Got another foul call.
Yeah, it looks like that ball was rebounded by Addison Davis, and then another foul by Ephrata after Crest gets the rebound. I think Coach Cerullo needs to just tell his girls, stop reaching in. The refs are calling them once they have the possession.
Yeah, lots of fouls on the rebound, away from the basket. They're aggressive fouls. Again, high-stake game, playoff game.
You're hitting on all the keys that can get the blood pressure going. We're going to see who has the medal as this game progresses. Malinowski drives in, kicks it out to Young. Groff on the drive. Went through, could not get the finish. It was an excellent move there. Got to the basket, thought she was going to get finished. Maybe thought she was going to get some contact because she braced herself a little bit. The contact didn't come.
Looks like Ephrata's going to hold here for the last shot going into halftime.
I think it's a good strategy. Make sure you can go into halftime with a lead. You don't want to do anything silly, so slow it down.
Yeah, and Crest doesn't want to do anything silly either. They don't
want
to foul.
Clark, long 3, ended up missing. Well, that's one of those situations, 30 seconds left. I don't know if you need to take that shot.
Yeah, probably didn't need to take that one. You know, at that point in the game, that's a look that you can kind of get whenever you want.
So now Crest with the ball, a chance to cut the lead to 2, maybe even 1. Young from the free throw line. It's up, off, no good. Stays with Crest as not Kalinowski knocked it off of Clark.
6 seconds here.
6 seconds. So what type of play do you call here?
I think you see Francis back in the game. So you're probably going to try to go to her. She has a size advantage there. 6 seconds. You just don't want her to pick up her third, do something silly.
I'll say, do you give her the ball or do you have her set a screen? But the ball goes out to the wing. No good. Rebounded by Kalinowski and then blocked. Big block by Caldwell. Big block there. She thought she was going to get called for a foul. I'd like to see that one again if we can before we head to break.
I mean, it was a good look at the rim that you get with 6 seconds.
We're going to take a look. The rebound by Kalinowski, excellent. And look at that. There were 2 defenders there. Nice play. We're going to take a short break here for halftime, and then we will back with the first half recap and to get ready for our second half action. Thanks for joining. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this LebcoSports.com production here, as we are at Buchanan Gym in Hempfield High School for the second of the two LL League girls semifinal matchups. Earlier tonight, we had a victory by Manheim Township, so they are waiting the winner of this game where they will be playing on their home floor Friday night. So to kind of talk about it, it's 16-12 at the half. Ephrata is leading. They had 9 points, a surprise 9 points from sophomore Emily Bender, who hit 3 threes in that first half, had 4 all year, like you had mentioned. Alyssa Caldwell added 4, and then our player to watch, Leah Caldwell, added 3. Now on the Cedar Crest side, our player to watch, Ellie Malinowski, was held scoreless, so the defense was really focusing on her. Ryan Stopper had 3, Allie Groff had 5, and Kayla Francis had 4. So, Coach, from a coaching perspective, down 4, what's Coach Shea telling her girls in that locker room?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Ellie Malinowski, scoreless, which is huge. She's a very big part of the puzzle for Cedar Crest to have some success. I don't even know if she took more than 2 shots. So credit to Ephrata's defense. They're making it really difficult for her to get the ball. I think they just need to keep going. Crest needs to keep going inside. Kayla Francis needs to post up strong. Try to get some buckets that way. Try that inside-out game. Go into Kayla Francis. She gets double-teamed. Kick it back out to those open guards. Because, Allie Groff did hit a 3. Yeah. So, try to look for that. Ellie's capable of hitting those 3s. So I think you got to get the ball inside and keep working that. They're getting those shots. Ryan Stopper had some great drives and some of them didn't fall.
And we're going to take a look at some of our replays. We'll see some of those 3s, like we said, from Emily Bender, who you would not have expected. So it probably wasn't in Coach Shea's game plan to rush out onto her as a shooter, knowing she's only taken 4 or made 4 all year, hitting 3 in the first half. We saw the second one there. It was in and out. And here's a play on the Crest side. This was when Kayla Francis was hitting from that free throw line. She took a couple shots from there. This was a steal and go coast to coast by Alyssa Caldwell to finish there. Not a lot of highlights from that first half as we're looking at the A&J Pizza replays. It was very low scoring, a lot of defense. I am intrigued to see how this second half goes. As we're looking at our last highlight here, and it was a 3 there by Allie Groff. You had mentioned she hit that. So we got about 20 seconds left this halftime. The girls are ready to go. Unlike the first half where coaches took a little bit or the first game, coach took a little bit longer to get back out. These girls are ready. Crest starts with the ball, goes in to Allie Groff right away. 16-12 here in the third.
Yep. See what Coach Shea has drawn up. She's a great coach at coming out of timeouts and dead ball situations where you get a good look at the basket. And there it was.
Big shot by Olivia Young in the corner. Like you said, Coach Shea made an adjustment halftime, got something drawn up nicely. Hit the bucket there for 2 points. Now Leah Caldwell drives. Jaslyn Sanders now goes in right at the heart of the defense, gets her own rebound, but it was knocked out. It stays here. It's natural instinct. I think all players always point their direction no matter who it goes off of.
Yep, they always want the ball. Try to help the refs out a little bit.
Yeah. Caldwell's got it. She's up at the top, swings it over to her sister. Back out to...
Preston's doing a good job of being in help defense.
Yeah. Emily Bender driving, kicks it back out to Caldwell. She drives with the right. Looks like she's going to take it the whole way. She does, but Francis altered that shot.
She did. She stayed straight up, too. Didn't go for the block. Did a good job. Yeah, and that's ultimately what you want from a big 6-foot post player. You don't want them to go for blocks all the time. You don't want to risk getting them in foul trouble because I always, as a coach, tell my players, you never know. They might just miss, and you can turn and rebound, which is what happened.
And that ball went into Francis, got poked away. Ephrata comes with it. And I was going to add there, when you're 6'1" and you work in the wingspan, you raise up, your hands are almost 9 feet. That's going to be hard to shoot over that.
Yeah.
Caldwell shoots.
Good rebound by Ellie.
Ellie Kalinowski, she's going down. She's looking for her first bucket. Goes coast to coast, was fouled. So she'll get to shoot 2. Didn't get her first bucket, but she might find her name on the score sheet. Here she goes to the foul line with a chance to tie it. And if her nerves are anything like they were the other night, I count on both of these to go in.
Yeah, that was good awareness of her. That was a good job of getting the rebound and pushing it up herself. I mean, she was out in front of everybody there.
So how much does playing in a double overtime thriller playoff game 2 nights ago impact the girls tonight?
It's tough. It is so tough. I remember one year when we beat Lancaster Catholic in the first round in a round, and then it was tough to come back because it almost feels like the championship, and it's just mentally tough.
I know
physically tough as well, especially if you're playing a double overtime game.
Right, I know the girls leave everything on the floor every time out, but in a playoff game,
another steal
by Ryan Stopper. You mentioned her defense. She's going coast to coast. Had a little bit of contact there. We have a foul call. We're going to see who it's on. I thought they were going to call it on the shot, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a look at that again so we can kind of see who that's on.
A little body there. I thought there was a little body there.
They called it there on that rebound. They said Sanders caught
That's her third foul.
That's her third very early.
That's a key foul there for Crest.
Yeah, I mean, that's big because it brings Sanders out of the game, and she is a big force in the middle defensively.
She's a great play. She's only a freshman. Good drive, good shot. Impacts on the defensive end as well.
Groff with the ball at the top has a chance to give Crest the lead.
Crest should try to take advantage of that with having her out of the game, maybe get to the rim.
And it looks that's exactly what she did. You were inside her head coach as she drove, and that's the bucket for Allie Groff. Brings her point total to 7. Caldwell bringing it up, trailing for the first time tonight. Looks for Ella Pike, drives, little floater, little too long. Rebounded there by Sophia Devon. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Rebounded by Ryan Stopper. Groff has it at the top. Goes to Young, down to Francis.
On the floor.
But
that's exactly what they wanted. Get it into Francis, especially with Sanders out of the game. Francis has some great moves in there. She's strong. She can finish.
It's Leah Caldwell's first foul, but it's Ephrata's third foul of this quarter. So just 2 more, and Crest is living at the line the rest of the quarter.
Yeah, again, something you want to...
Young was open. What do we got? We got an offensive foul called there. She set her feet. We're going to take a look at that again because I love watching a good defensive player putting their body on the line for their team.
Yeah.
Good cross-court pass, but then Bender just set her feet. Caldwell bringing it up, trailing for the first time. Gets it to Devonshire.
Crest really kind of picked up their defense on this end.
It looks like it. They're playing more aggressively. They're moving, I think, quicker
closing
than they
out
were in the
shooters.
first half.
Really getting in passing lanes. That's a great rotation. Drove baseline. Ryan Stopper, kind of helped the helper. Took that steal.
Yep. She got the ball up to Groff. Groff is settling it down, gives it back to Stopper on the wing. Looking for Francis to get in. Young's got it at the top. Gives it over to Groff, drives, went up and under, didn't get it to fall. Rebounded there by Bender. Gets it to Caldwell to bring it down, slowing it down a little bit. 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
I think Ephrata needs to run something here. Get a good look. The last couple possessions, they kind of given up some steals there.
Ryan Stopper
got away with
called
it
on
there.
the foul
Got a foul.
We're going to take a look at that one again, our A&J Pizza replay.
Kind of the same thing as last time down, except Stopper was a little late, bumped her.
Yeah, it's
just another aggressive foul by her.
Yeah, sorry for stepping on your coach, but that's 2 straight possessions now where Ephrata's dribbled down to the corner with Pike and trying to cross it underneath the backboard. Caldwell up. That's a 3 if it goes. Way long. Rebounded by Devonshire. Kicked back out to the other Caldwell. That 3 was short. Rebounded by Francis.
Yeah, again, gave up an offensive rebound. And again, I said it earlier, as a coach, when you give up an offensive rebound and they hit a 3, that's not a good feeling, but they missed that one.
We'll say this is something that we have come to see with Ephrata. We think about their last 2 games. They were held scoreless in the first quarter against Columbia. So far, they're held scoreless this quarter, with Crest having all 6 points in the quarter and now up 2. Another little sloppy pass there by Bender was picked off by Francis.
Got to take care of Ephrata's got to do a better job in maybe taking care of the ball, making each possession count.
I wonder if they're just starting to press a little bit, knowing that they haven't scored yet. If they were trying to get out quick to get that bucket. Another turnover there. That time pass by Ava Lesher went unattended into the wall, so it will be Ephrata ball down by 2 with 3:09 left in the third. Caldwell bringing it up, slowing it down. However, this time we see Groff meet her in front of the midline.
Yeah, they're being aggressive. I think they need to be.
Looks like they've switched in.
But again, you don't want to be over aggressive. You have a 2-point lead. The last couple possessions, you've gotten some steals.
Caldwell goes in and she picks up an offensive foul. So we now seen a charge on both ends of the field. Stopper's so excited. Let's watch that one again on our A&J Pizza replay.
Good charge there. Good getting her feet set. Cedar Crest is usually good for 1 or 2 charges a game. I think the last game against Lancaster Catholic, Kayla Francis took 2 charges.
Love to see it. Putting your
So
body on the line.
it's something they work for. They work at practice.
Love to see putting your body on the line for your team. Stopper has the ball now on offense after drawing that charge. Gives it to Francis up top. Groff on the wing. Goes out to Stopper again. She crosses over.
Yeah, that was Caldwell's 3rd foul as well on that end.
That's the younger Caldwell. She was not our player to watch, but still you don't want anybody in foul trouble in these playoff games.
And she's their primary, seems like their primary ball handler. So you definitely need her out on the floor.
Clark missed that 3, rebounded by Francis. Looks like Ephrata's starting to settle for the long ball right now, getting away from their offense, but it's something they did in the first half too with those 3 big threes from Bender. Stopper's got it over to Groff.
Being very patient right now.
Yep, Groff's kind of just realized Malinowski's not on the floor right now. She's getting a breather. Groff has it on the wing. Goes up to Stopper with the nice cross.
Doing a good job of not forcing it, kicking it out. Ephrata doesn't need to panic either.
Ball was almost out, but it was picked up by Ava Lesher. A quick timeout called there by Coach Shea to make sure they keep possession. And quick care is something that you can count on when you go see the Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster. We want to thank them for sponsoring our inaugural season of Lebco Sports Live coverage, serving the bone, joint, and muscle needs of the region since 1972. OAL provides experienced, specialized orthopedic care to Lancaster and surrounding communities, with convenient locations in Lancaster, Lebanon, Spooky Nook, Willow Street, and Ephrata. Working as a team with each patient, our experts deliver personalized treatment and support that always puts patients first. OAL is proud to offer accessible, compassionate care close to home. As the area's first walk-in orthopedic urgent care facility, they understand how critical and timely care is after an injury. Orthopedic Urgent Care offers prompt evaluation, diagnosis, and often immediate treatment by orthopedic specialists, eliminating the need for an emergency room visit. No appointment is necessary, and most insurances are accepted. We'd also like to thank YG Productions for making our coverage possible in our first season. Whether you're looking for photos or videos to remember your big event or want to stream live to your fans, YG Productions has you covered. They will put in the time and effort required to make your project something special. Visit the website and see their portfolio at ygproductions.org. We're getting ready to get started here. Crest keeps ball right in front of their own bench, being brought in by Ava Lesher. Malinowski is back in after her short breather there on the bench. Ball goes into Groff at the top.
Important possession here. Again, like I said earlier, Coach Shea usually does a good job of, getting something out of a timeout, running a set, getting a good look at the rim.
That was a 3-pointer by Groff. Went wayward.
The
Ball's on the
rebound
floor. Francis and Caldwell are going for it. What's the call? Stays Cedar Crest ball as it went off. We're going to look at that again as they were scrumming for the ball. See, Francis had it, lost it. Caldwell's going down. She touched it on the line. It's going to stay with Cedar Crest. Malinowski's bringing it in on the baseline. They're moving it around. Groff has it, looking for Malinowski. Groff decides to drive, goes up and under, finds the bucket. Excellent score there. Takes the lead to their largest of the game, 4 points. Again, Effort had not scored yet this quarter.
That's a great drive. Ellie was, that play was designed for Ellie, and they ran 2 people out on the screen, and, that's what you have to do as to help your team out. If Ellie's being guarded, you got to step out. You got to step up for her. And take some of that pressure. And, that's how Ellie's going to continue to get shots, because now other people start scoring. It might open you up a bit. So that's a great job by Allie.
And that's what you want in a leader. She knew that it wasn't there. She made the right play. Sanders frustrated there by that travel call on her, because she has not had a lot of minutes tonight due to the foul trouble. Unable to get into a rhythm. And you could see as she was pulled out of the game there that the frustration's on her face.
Yeah. And again, she's just a freshman, great player. She has a bright future. Learning a lot in a game like this.
Yes, they are. Paige Van Dett on the right side. Goes up to Francis, 12 seconds left. Young's got it on the wing. Obviously holding for the last shot. She drives, throws it up on the right. Did not go.
Good
Rebound.
save.
Sophia Devonshire's got it with 1 second left. Is she going to get the shot off? She did, and it counts. Good bucket. The refs look at each other and say, yes, it counts. We're going to look at that again as Ephrata finally got on the scoreboard.
That was a great save out of bounds. I'm not sure. I think it might have been Caldwell who saved it, but she saved it away from Cedar Crest's basket, right in the middle of the floor, which allowed Devonshire to get out in front of everybody.
And what a nervy finish for a freshman driving down. Team hasn't scored yet in the quarter. Looking up, you see there's only a second left. She was able to calmly finish that there. And we're going to take a quick listen to some of our sponsors. We talk about LebcoSports.com. They serve as the leading source for Lebanon County athletic news. Our mission is simple, to celebrate our local athletes, and we'd like to thank them and Dan Rao for their support this season. And if you're hungry, we'd also like to talk about the pizza that everyone in Lebanon County is talking about, the Old World, also known as the Upside Down Pizza. It focuses on the delicious sauce on top and the texture baked to crisp perfection. Made for any time of the day, and when lunchtime rolls around, we've got you covered with lunch specials that delivers a great quantity for a great price. 2 reasons to stop in at A&J Pizza and Restaurant. We're getting ready to start the 4th quarter here. Cedar Crest outscored Ephrata 8-2 that quarter. We've seen those quarters before from Ephrata where they kind of struggle and don't get a lot of points. That was one of them.
Yeah, and they got that 2 points right at the end there. So.
Yeah, we'll see if that changes the momentum in their favor. They start with the ball. They have a chance to tie it. Caldwell bringing it down.
I mean, they didn't score that quarter, but again, they're only down 2. So that's got to feel good. As a coach, I'm saying, hey, we didn't play great that quarter, but we're in this game still.
Yeah, and that was a great set right there. Caldwell was sealed off nicely, just didn't get the finish.
Yeah.
And then down on the other end, she gets called for the foul. She's guarding Francis. We're going to look at that one again, the A&J Pizza replay.
Francis has got her on her back.
Yeah.
Just trying to get around, contest it. Almost better off just letting her catch it and kind of contesting that shot than picking up a foul, although that's only 2 fouls for her.
And stop her with a great pass down low, though, to get the ball in there. They're going right back to her. The turnaround, short off the iron, was loose there. Emily Bender recovered, goes into Sanders. She got bullied there a little bit by Malinowski, but the ball stayed with Ephrata. Caldwell for 3 and the lead. No good. Ball goes off, and it stays here as it went off of Allie Groff.
You can tell it's the 4th quarter. It's a tight game. It's getting physical. The players are 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and everybody wants the ball.
Yeah. These are 2 teams that know how to win. They're both co-champions of their sections this year. They are no stranger to being in tight games and how to handle it down the stretch. Ball goes into Sanders. She drives a little bit long, going after it. What do we got?
Got a jump ball,
They
good
call
look.
it jump ball. Yep, possession arrow is to Cedar Crest. We're going to take a look
It's
at
a
that
good drive
one
by Sanders. Just didn't finish. Got a good look, though.
Yeah, she had a good look, didn't finish. I know she's been pressing because she hasn't had many minutes due to her foul trouble.
Looks like Ephrata's in a different defense here, in a little bit of a zone, 3-quarter court. Again, probably to give Crest a different look, maybe try to contain Francis.
Groff has the ball at the
Now they're
top.
back in their man-to-man.
Gives it over to Davis. Stopper with a beautiful cut. Good pass by Davis. Found the bucket, up 4. Great cut there by Ryan Stopper.
Yeah, her girl was chasing. It was a good idea for her to curl. Got a wide open look there.
Yeah, gives her 5 points on the night. Bender has it. Goes over to Sanders. Effort is still down 4. Caldwell out on the wing. Drives.
Good
Cross
look.
pass. Oh, Leah Caldwell couldn't finish. I think she rushed it a little bit. So Crest bringing it back down, up by 4. Groff with the ball. Dribble with the left. Takes it back up to the top. Driving left, going up and under.
Wasn't really a great possession there. You know, nobody else really touched the ball.
Yeah, no, it didn't look like they were really aggressively moving to get the ball either, so she drove, tried to make something out of
And
nothing.
you got a decent look at it, but yeah, you want other people touching the ball. You know, the clock is Cedar Crest's friend now, so not that they have to slow it down because there's a lot of time left.
Caldwell went up in amongst the trees, couldn't get it to fall.
The
Rebounded
effort
by
is
Francis.
getting to the rim. They're just not finishing right now.
And they're also not going up very aggressive, which is why they're not getting any foul calls, I believe. Sanders goes the whole way. There we go. She went up aggressive. She'll be going to the stripe for her first 2 free throws of the game. It's 18-22. That's a second foul on Allie Groff. Possession arrows does sit with Ephrata, so if there is a jump ball, they'll retain it. She missed it a little bit long, used her legs there. So as we're approaching here in like the final minutes of the fourth quarter, one thing we want to be aware of is maybe there will be some fatigue here for Cedar Crest after playing that double overtime game just on Monday night.
Just 2 nights ago, and you know, it does play a factor. You know, fourth quarter. You know, but you have to rely on, you know, picking and choosing. You know, kind of knowing when to take your breaks, get your rest. Like, you definitely don't want to rest on defense.
Both free throws missed there by Sanders, and the rebound was by Malinowski. Francis with the ball on the wing. Goes out to Davis, to cutting Malinowski, gives it back out to Stopper, back down to Malinowski. She goes up, turn around, couldn't get it to go, rebounded by Caldwell. Malinowski's getting a little frustrated with herself, not getting a bucket. You can hear her clap her hands after that one, but then Ephrata throws it away, trying to find Devonshire underneath.
She's working hard on that offensive end. Ephrata's, you know, she catches the ball, and they have 2 or 3 people surrounding her. Yeah, I think, and, you know, that's probably the game plan coming in. You know, she's a great player.
Yeah. Groff bringing it up. Still up by 4, approaching the midway point of the fourth quarter. Devonshire's pressing. They got to get it over the half-court time. Coach Shea knew it. She called timeout before the refs could stop it from getting over. And she also called the timeout before the effort could steal it. We're going to take a real short break, and we will be back with you momentarily.
Life moves fast, and injuries can stop you in your tracks. At Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster, we're here when life happens, from sprains and breaks to pain that won't quit. No appointment needed with our walk-in urgent care. State-of-the-art care, expert surgeons, and physical therapy to get you moving again, all under one roof. Trusted in Central Pennsylvania since 1972, caring for families, athletes, and neighbors across our 5 convenient locations. Don't let pain slow you down. Visit OALFixedBones.com to save your spot online today.
Thank you for joining us for.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Buchanan Gym. We have about 4.5 minutes left in this semifinal matchup between co-champion Cedar Crest against co-champion Ephrata. It's been a tight battle. There's been defense. There's been some rush shots. There's been contested shots. Coach Shea smartly called a timeout there.
Yeah, not a lot of scoring going on in this game overall, but doing a good job of, you know, Ephrata is doing a good job of staying in the game. You know, Crest did a great job of coming back, you know, for as hot of a start as it was for Ephrata. With
Right.
9 points right off the bat, 3 threes.
for someone you wouldn't suspect to have 9 points as quickly as they did. Stopper with the ball.
Maybe they're trying to use a little clock. Good look.
Francis with the reverse layup, up and in. Excellent pass and finish there for Francis. Takes the lead to 6 with 3 minutes and 54 seconds left. Caldwell bringing the ball up.
A little high-low action down there. Liv Young with a good look underneath.
Goes up to Sanders. She's dribbling, driving. Got blocked there by Francis. Good follow-up there by Caldwell to put it back. 24-20, 3.5 minutes to go. Similar to earlier tonight, does Coach Cerullo think about fouling soon?
I don't think they need to foul yet. You know, I'd pressure them a little bit. I think what they're doing is fine. I think on the offensive end, how they just scored, they just need to keep trying to get to the rim, you know, maybe get some finishes there. You know, but they don't want Crest to take too much time off the clock here.
Young looks down to Francis. There's a turnover.
And that's why you don't maybe want to foul too much, you know, too early.
There was a time there where the ball was up in the wing and Leah Caldwell came when she was defending. The ball was stopped and she was begging somebody to come and help her trap, but nobody came. That's something I think Coach Cerullo may want to talk to his girls about. Make sure they get that trap in those situations.
Yeah. You know, lots of time left. It's only a 4-point game.
Ryan Stopper with an excellent steal goes up, but Jaslyn Sanders, a big defensive play.
That's a great
Stopper
hustle.
Doesn't stop, and she gets her own rebound and scores at 26-20 now. Leah Caldwell with the pump, and she drives. She goes up, trying to do it all herself on that one. Didn't work out. Rebounded by Stopper.
That was a great hustle by Sanders to contest that and get back, but none of her teammates were there to follow up.
No, and Ryan Stopper didn't stop.
Yeah,
she
stuck with it.
Francis with the ball. Goes over at Malinowski.
We're getting to the 2-minute mark. They're down 6.
So now, do you think, should they start thinking about it now?
I don't think they need to foul yet, but I think they need to pressure, maybe get in some denial, face guard a little bit, make it a little, you know, Crest is getting by them pretty easy.
Malinowski finds the bucket. That's her first points from the field tonight. She had her free throws earlier, extends the lead to 8. Excellent play there by Ellie. Coach Cerullo is going to take a quick timeout. While he takes that timeout, we're going to thank Lebanon Federal Credit Union. They are proudly sponsoring this event. They are serving our community since 1969. For more than 5 decades, LFCU is focused on people over profit, offering trusted local banking built on relationships. From everyday checking and savings to loans and financial guidance, they're committed to helping neighbors succeed. When you bank with LFCU, you're supporting a financial partner truly rooted in the community. Thank you to Lebanon Federal Credit Union for supporting today's stream. So we're down to 1:41 left as we're looking at Ephrata's huddle there with Coach Cerullo talking to his girls. Down 8. What's the message he's sending right now?
Yeah, I think, you know, pick up defensively. You know, you don't want too much time to go off, you know, the clock here. You're down 8, 1:40 to go. You know, you want to make Crest put the ball on the floor. You want to make them panic. You know, try to get some steals right off the bat. And then when you get the ball back, you want to try to score quickly. You know, I think if you're Crest, you know, obviously the clock is your friend. You want to use as much of it as you can, you know, but taking care of the ball. You know, don't panic. Again, she is, you know, a young crew out there. That's a lot of young kids. You know, just getting them to understand that, you know, we need to take care of the ball here. Because, you know, they come down, they hit 2 threes, you know, they're right back in this game.
Right, but at this point, it's hard to think who's going to hit those threes because they have been struggling from the field tonight. They had the 3 quick ones, and there hasn't been much. If you think about it, they had those 9 points within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, and only 11 since.
They haven't hit a 3 since.
And they dribbled. Caldwell tried to find Devonshire, went off her left hand and out of bounds. So now we're down to 1:30. I would think they have to foul at this point, down 8.
Yeah, they need to, you know, pick up full court press here, not give up anything easy.
Malinowski's going deep, looking like a quarterback. She found Allie Groff there. Excellent pass as she hit the seam.
Yeah, Ellie's a softball player, and you can tell. That was a great throw.
So interesting that we've now had 13 seconds run off the clock without a foul. Finally got one. 15 seconds ran off there, though, for Ephrata.
Yeah, that was a lot of time, and they have some fouls to give before they actually put them on the line.
Right, they need to get 3 more quick ones before they even can get them on the line.
Yeah.
Crest smartly taking it to the backcourt.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. That's a good job by Sophia Devonshire. Went for the ball first, almost had it.
She did almost have it, but another 6 seconds click off, and right now the time is clearly against them. So when she didn't get it the first time, I would have thought she was going to foul, but hey, she thought she could get it. Now it brings the ball into the backcourt further, a little bit of a harder inbound. Gets into Groff, though. Devonshire again. She's on foul duty right now. That's the 4th on the team. It's 1:06 left.
Now they're going to take it out underneath the basket. See if they do something similar to the last play they ran.
I mean, the space is there if they go deep again. She's trying it for Stopper. Again, she hits the open girl. Stopper dribbling, finds Groff.
Oh,
a lot of time
trap.
running off.
Yeah.
Good
but they had
play.
her in a good spot to trap her, and maybe could have got something out of that, but it was a quick foul, which isn't bad either.
Yeah, not at all. Allie Groff going to the line, has a chance to extend the lead to 10 if she makes both. We have 1:01 left in this game. First one is up and good. I will tell you, from what I've seen in the last 2 playoff games, Crest does what they need to do from the line.
Yeah, they make foul shots. They make, and they're so important, and they do win games, as proof of the last game they had.
Groff makes them both, does extend that lead to double digits for the first time tonight. Caldwell's bringing it down, 57 seconds.
I think if you're Crest here, you don't want to foul. You just want to play solid D, keep them in front.
Emily Bender drives, kicks it out. Devonshire for 3, a little bit long. Went off of Caldwell. She was trying to save it, threw it right into Groff. Groff's dribbling. Devonshire goes up. She, like I said, she's on foul duty. She went and fouled again. That is her 4th foul of the night, and sending Groff back to the stripe for 2 with the chance to extend the lead to 12.
Solid from the line. She looks confident, too.
Yeah, she made that one again. I've yet to see a Crest player step up to the stripe and look nervous, be worried, or not have the confidence that they need to go up and knock it down.
Right.
I must have jinxed her. I did. It's the announcer's curse. Shame on me. Caldwell looked up at the clock. 30 seconds left. Down by 11. Bender hits her 4th 3 of the night. 4 all season. Coach Cerullo takes a quick timeout. We're also going to take a quick timeout, and then we will be back with you for the close.
Tonight's broadcast. LebcoSports.com is your headquarters for all things Lebanon County sports. Scores, recaps, and stories behind the athletes and teams you care about the most. When the final buzzer sounds, head over to LebcoSports.com and catch up on everything you might have missed. Then, make sure you follow along for what's coming next.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with you at Buchanan Gym here for the semifinal matchup between Effort and Cedar Crest. Crest is up by 8. They turn the ball over quickly. Caldwell went up for it. Ball stays in. Emily Bender, another 3. That was a long one. That would have been a new
Good save.
Sanders, yep, she launched up a three, I think. Caldwell went back up. She draws a foul. That was a pretty hectic sequence right there as we had a couple threes launched up. We're going to take a look at it a little bit, try to sift through it. Caldwell went up. She got blocked. Thought she was going to get a foul. She got the foul called. She's going to the line for 2. Down 8 with 11 seconds. And she makes that. Lead is now 7. As we started the game, we talked about some players to watch, sponsored by Orthopedic Associates in Lancaster. Leah Caldwell at the stripe was our player to watch for Everton. She has had a decent game. However, there's been some other players that have stepped up. She did her best. Our player to watch for Cedar Crest is Ellie Malinowski, and the game plan for Everton was to shut her down, and they did do that. And because of that, when this game is over, we're going to have our player of the game, sponsored by Orthopedic Associate Lancaster, number 11, Allie Groff. She has put on a performance, dominating on both ends of the floor, been the calming presence when needed to be on the offensive end, and then also stuck with it defensively. What did you see in her tonight, Coach?
I think, Allie is, sophomore, really great point guard. Like you said, she's really steady. She's like a calming presence. She really stepped up, hit a three early in the game, stepped up in the second half, 3 for 4 here in the last minute of the game, going to the foul line, kind of sealing the game. And she is a great defender as well. And I think just took control, really controlled the game. When your point guard is calm, you are calm. So she did a great job.
And once this score goes final, we're going to have a Lebanon County team going up against Manheim Township on their home floor for the second year in a row.
Yeah.
You've been in those shoes. What do you think Coach Shea is going to tell the girls getting ready for that one?
Yeah, I mean, she's very familiar with Township. They're in the same section. So I think it's going to be, just kind of going over what they already know. And obviously Sanaya Robinson is a huge player for them.
Yeah, you can see the girls celebrating. We're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be back with you, hopefully with our player of the game, Allie Groff, in a moment. Thanks for watching. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back live at Buchanan Gym as we just watched the second of the semifinal games between Cedar Crest and Ephrata. Cedar Crest came out victorious 31-24. We are here with our Orthopedic Associates Lancaster player of the game, Allie Groff. First, Allie, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your performance. I'm only going to ask one question. I'm going to pass it off to Coach because she is the expert. How difficult was it to come out for this game after the double overtime game that you guys just played Monday night?
It was hard. We were pretty sore. We had a big recovery practice yesterday, and we knew we needed this. We just fought through the soreness, and it was all mental for us. We know this is a mental game now. We just got to fight through it.
Yeah, you mentioned mental toughness, coming off a game that almost feels like a championship. How are you preparing? What are you saying to your team, too, at halftime? Emily Bender came out, hit 3 threes, hadn't really been a three-point shooter up until tonight. So what are you guys saying at halftime to kind of combat that?
We're just staying, keeping how we've always been. We've been calm, cool. We just know that this is a game of runs, and they're
Yeah. You did a great job tonight. You know, Ellie obviously is on every scouting report. Kayla Francis on every scouting report. And I thought they did a great job of defending and making Ellie work hard for her shots, which is where you stepped up. And I think you needed to do that in order to kind of take some pressure off. You know, it's tough, I'm sure, being a sophomore, but, you know, how do you feel in those moments?
I just feel like I trust my team so much that I don't have to be nervous. I don't have to be worrying about everything else. I can just focus on my game and then know that my teammates have my back.
Yeah. You did a great job on both ends of the floor tonight.
You did, and that's what made you our OAL player of the game. One last question I have for you is now, how are you girls going to prepare, get ready to go face a Manheim Township team on their home floor in the championship?
We're going to go work hard. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing and not take this as another. We've been taking every game as a championship, so now we're going to take the next one as the bigger championship.
And you just need to go 1-0. So, Allie, I want to say thank you. Once again, congratulations. You are Orthopedic Associates at Lancaster Player Game. We're going to see a couple of your highlights right here. These are some of the bigger ones. They don't look like anything, but when you step up to the free throw line, it's huge, just like we saw Ellie the other night doing it. There you had a nice drive, finished up and under there.
Yeah, did a great job tonight. You know, ice cold from you got some
ice in your veins.
Ice in your veins.
Yeah, girl. You did a nice job out there. Very proud of you. As being our Orthopedic Associate Lancaster Player Game, you will get a T-shirt. We just want to say thank you, congratulations, good luck on Friday. Represent Lebanon County, and best of luck to you.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, thank you, Allie. So we're just going to take a look at a couple more of our highlights here before we wrap up from Buchanan Gym here with both of our games of the LL League semifinal girls playoffs. You can see our player of the game, Allie Groff, just going hard. She didn't quit both ends of the floor, right, Coach?
Yeah, and like I said, I think, you know, with Ellie being guarded so tough, she needed to step up. Somebody needed to step up, and, you know, tonight it was Allie. You know, great drives to the basket. You know, that's going to open up other people. You know, when they're going to give you that lane, you got to take it. And, you know, she did a great job of taking it and finishing.
Excellent points, Coach. Very exciting. Excited to see another Lebanon County team heading to the finals. Maybe, hopefully they will work hard and have the same luck that you guys had last year on the home floor. I don't want to say luck because you earned that victory. It wasn't luck. You worked very hard. We had an excellent night of girls basketball tonight for the Lancaster Lebanon League. We saw a really good, highly contested game early on with Township beating Warwick, and they will host the game on Friday. And then the second game again, Cedar Crest up against Ephrata. Excellent game on both ends. Both games were outstanding. We loved bringing them to you. I know it was a long ride. We enjoyed all of it. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, big thank you to A&J Pizza for all of our replay sponsors, LebcoSports.com for allowing us to do this, OAL for sponsoring our players to watch, also our players of the game, and a big shout out to Lebanon Federal Credit Union sponsoring the game and also allowing us to have our pre- and post-game show. It has been a pleasure to bring the games to you as we're finishing up watching some of these highlights. It's an exciting day for Lancaster Lebanon League basketball. There's a team from each county being representing their county in the final Friday night at Manheim Township. Going to be a hard contest for everybody. Looking forward to seeing how that one plays out. We're looking at just, I think, the last of our A&J Pizza replay. Again, final score from Hempfield for the second semifinal was Cedar Crest 31, Ephrata 24. I am Rob Gantz, who is accompanied tonight by special guest Jamie Walborn. Very thankful for you coming out,
Yes,
Coach.
thanks for having me.
Yes, it was excellent. Thank you to YG Productions and also LebcoSports.com for allowing us to do this. Thank you for joining us, and have a good rest of your evening.